Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in Whitley City, Kentucky, a gruesome discovery in a back bedroom of a rural trailer leads police on a fruitless hunt until a very unlikely witness steps forward. Are they telling the truth? Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us this week on another crazy episode of Small Town Murder. Coming last week from Lake Havasu, Arizona there.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a crazy episode.
Do you want to know something, James?
What?
I went out with my dad on his boat this weekend.
Yeah.
And while we're sitting out on the lake, he's telling me about how the London Bridge got to Lake Havasu. I go, hold on, pump the brakes.
I got this.
Let me tell you a story, sir.
I'll tell you something. Now we're heading back east this week.
Okay.
Heading out to, wow, this is one of the most rural, this is what Small Town Murder is all about. When you think of like a small town murder and you think like, oh, some backwoods little, this is what we're talking about here.
Right.
It's all about it. Quickly, some house cleaning because we have some stuff to talk about with live shows, and then we will get right into the show because it's a doozy. But first of all, thank you for your reviews this week. They mean the world to us, those reviews on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever the hell that is, the purple icon. We don't understand why their funky algorithm.
We don't know why it means
We
so
don't know
much
why,
to
but
us.
it drives us up the charts, and it helps a lot. So if you want to help out the podcast in a real easy way, we know it takes like 30 seconds to sign in. You got to remember your password. Do it for us. It takes longer to figure out murders. So if you could do that, give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. It's not for our ego. It's really to drive us up the charts, but that helps a lot. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your small town murder and crime and sports needs also. And listen to Crime and Sports. And once again, reiterate, you do not have to like sports. We say this all the time. People go, I'm not really into sports. Good. You should like crime and sports even more then, because we're mocking. Trust me.
I don't know about you, James, but I get a lot of love on Twitter about crime and sports, and it's not... When you do that and aim it at me, tag James's fat ass in it too, because he will love to. I don't know.
I've been trying to gain weight for the last 20 years. I'm skinny as fuck. All of a sudden, I'm fat now.
Sorry, I've had
I don't care. I'm just
tag James's ass in it too, and let him know, because he's the one that researches it, and we both adore the show. So let him know.
Yeah, we love that shit.
Like it.
Yeah, they do. They're all good.
It's been insane this week.
Yeah, do that definitely, and get your merchandise. We have tons of new stuff. Pocket Robin T-shirts. Get your Pocket Robin T-shirts, and most of all, though, tickets to live shows, because this is a big day here. Pre-sale started. If you're listening the day this comes out on Thursday, May the 16th. 16th, 17th is Friday. If you're listening to that, just let me do this part. I'll do house cleaning if you've been drinking. Thank you.
I was trying to help
so, if no, I got this. If you're listening today, the tickets are on sale, pre-sale today. So do that. Shutupandgivememurder.com. The pre-sale code is GrimKaren. If you're going to buy tickets tomorrow, they go on sale for the public everywhere. No code or anything on Friday, May 17th. All the shows will be on sale except, I think, maybe Charlotte, because that's during a festival, so they have a different ticketing system. But everything else will be available. Get those tickets. Some of the markets will go quick. So even if it's like, that show's not till November, probably get your tickets now. Places like, Chicago, we sell really well in Chicago. So I know it's not till December, but get your tickets. We've never been to Milwaukee. Get those tickets now, because they'll probably go fast. Minneapolis, they sold in a day last time. So grab your tickets.
Pittsburgh's going to be fast.
Pittsburgh, there's a bunch of them. So if you want to go, grab the tickets, and we're going to give you a hell of a show. We promise that. We gave you the whole slate last time. It's at shutupandgivememurder.com. I'm not going to repeat them again. Any questions about anything about the shows, basically, unless it's about Jimmy and I personally, unless you're going to ask, hey, what colors are you guys wearing on stage? Or, are you going to do the same show here and there, or something like that? Contact the venue. We don't know. We don't know about ages, this, that, and we know shit. We're trying to make them all ages, so people can get in, because, college kids want to get in a lot. We have 16-year-olds that want to get in, and adults and whatever. Also, there will be chairs. People have asked, some of this venue a lot of times doesn't have chairs. All these are seated shows. No one's going to have to stand for 2 hours and listen to a comedy show. So that said, get your tickets now. We're going to have a blast. And with that aside, quick disclaimer, this is a comedy podcast. We're comedians. We're going to, we do our best here to not make fun of the victims or the victims' families, but jokes happen. That's what happens. So we try to make jokes about small towns, bumbling police force that lets a murderer go free, or a murderer. We talk about them, because what other recourse do we have? So, but like we said, we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families, because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
That's true.
So if that sounds excellent to you, then you're going to have a blast, and we're going to have fun here. But if you think true crime and comedy should never go together, and even if it's not about something horrible, the joke should just never be around a story of murder, then you should probably not listen to the show. It's just not for you. And we're not for everybody. That's the way it is. But for the rest of you that want to have a good time, let's do this. Shout it out the window. Stand atop your cubicle and proclaim, shut up
and give me murder.
Give me murder. Let's do this. Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
Okay.
What do you say? We're going all the way to Kentucky.
Oh, again.
Oh, boy.
Old
Here
Kentuck.
we go. Old Kentucky.
Yeah.
We haven't been to Kentucky in a while.
No?
No, we had in Wisconsin, there was a heritage from Kentucky there, where they had the Kentuck Festival.
Right.
I believe that was Wisconsin.
Was the last one Maynardville? Was that even?
No, we'll talk about it. This is Whitley City, Kentucky.
Okay.
This is at the very bottom of the state, very south, where it's, kind of evened out and flat there. That area.
Is that Tennessee border?
Yeah, that's there. The town, it's like everything settled to the bottom, and this town is the sediment of Kentucky. Like you'd have to get a decanter to get rid of it.
That sounds disgusting.
It really is. And this town, I'm sorry, but it fits. When you read about it, you're just like, Jesus Christ, this place is depressing, man. It really is. It's about 3 hours to Cincinnati because it's in the south part and Cincinnati's in the northwest there. About 3 hours to Nashville in the other direction, kind of southwest. And 2 hours and 50 minutes to Edgewood, Kentucky, which was episode 63, which was our last Kentucky episode. Yeah, man, it's been a long time since we've been to Kentucky, over a year. So that was the episode we did live in Boston, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a good time with that. This is in McCreary County. Kentucky. Zip code 42653, area code 606. It is 2.3 square miles here. The motto of the county. The town doesn't have a motto, and we'll talk about it. The town doesn't really represent itself well. Doesn't really advertise itself. It's just kind of there.
What's it called?
The town?
Yeah.
It is called Whitley City. Whitley City, Kentucky. Whitley City, and there's nothing city about this goddamn place. This should be called Whitley Field.
Okay.
Or Whitley, Whitley Mobile Home Park would be a good possible name for it. But the county motto is Scenic McCreary County. It's our nature.
Oh,
exclamation
for
point.
Sake.
Or
I like puns.
That's a bad one.
Yeah.
They're trying because that's literally all they have is trees. They're like, look, we got trees. What do we do here? And they're like, just fucking advertise trees.
Okay.
Just tell them we got trees. I don't know. Just tell them it's scenic and nature. And they get the hint. They'll walk around. But that also leads into their secondary motto, which is way more important if you're exploring nature, which is, quote, if you hear a banjo, cover your butthole. That's the state motto. And especially that county, they really stick hard to that. Just cover your butthole because it's dangerous.
It's pretty much Kentucky's whole state motto.
Yeah, down here, this is like the area where you'd go, I'm not getting out of the car in those woods. I'm not. Nope. We blow a tire, we'll just keep driving until we get to the next place of civilization because no.
Let the sparks fly.
We're 100% going to be fucking diddled around here. By something.
File the rim down.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I don't care. By like a hillbilly with his eyes too close together and his arms down to his knees.
Yeah.
Or like a bear's going to rape us. Something bad's going to happen here, and I don't want any part of it.
It's either too close or too far. One of the two.
Don't like
They're either on their temples or on their nose.
Either way. Not good. Not good. Now, it's located southeastern Kentucky. It's on the southern edge of the Daniel Boone National Forest. There. And the northern end of the Big South Fork National River and Recreation Area, known as the NRRA, which sounds like
that's too close.
The NRA with more rifles. That sounds like the extra.
The National Rifle.
Yeah, the National fucking.
The National So Many Rifles Association.
So many rifle. The NRA guys are pussies. National Rifle Association, one rifle.
You got one?
Rifle, bitch. Take that. So, I don't know about it.
That's great.
This area is all about the outdoor shit. That's all they can say about it is there's a lot of, it's scenic and there's just outdoor recreational. They always say it like this too. I feel like they've worked this phrase out. Outdoor recreational opportunities. Which means there's nothing to do, but there is grass for you to make something up. I feel like that's what that is. That's
because there's opportunity.
Whenever someone says there's opportunity, that means if you make something and craft it from shit and just make it out of whole cloth nothingness, then that's your opportunity that you just made. That's what they just said.
The ORO. They got an acronym for it. There's 8-year-olds that know that.
We have outdoors. Therefore, there's opportunity for recreation. Enjoy. We didn't set anything up to facilitate that at all. But
you see any doors around here? No, you don't.
Knock yourselves out. See all those trees? Do whatever you want to them. I don't give a fuck. Hide in them and wait for people. Play your banjo and then rape them. I don't know. Do what you got to do. So, this is, there's a lot of all sorts. McCreary County has the Natural Arch. These are all like historic and nature shit. The historic Stearns Trail Town. I don't know what that is. The Barthel Coal Mining Camp. That's what I want to go look at. Want to go look at an old coal mining camp? That sounds good. Hey, look, kids. Fuck.
That's not even named after anybody. That's just the sound somebody made when they came out of the coal mine.
And that's Barthel. There's some kid sitting there dicking around in his iPad at a coal mining camp. You're like, come on, pay attention, Jesus.
Look around.
These guys went down in a hole, for Christ's sake.
So many opportunities around you right now.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, all sorts of recreation shit. Opportunities just abound to have recreation, however you want it. It was first people started coming here in about 1772. This area kind of became a community, I guess you could say, in about 1772, which originally this was in Virginia. This was part of Virginia.
Really?
This was part of Fincastle, Virginia. And then in 1776, they divided it up, and they named this Kentucky County, Virginia. And then in 1780, the Virginia legislature set aside all the land in Kentucky County for soldiers who had served in the Revolutionary War.
Great.
So that's how this started. As we've had a few of these towns start.
Awesome.
There was one in, I want to say, where the hell was it? New Hampshire or Vermont? Vermont, I think it was, where it was like it started. It was all laid out. The whole town was plotted out and given just for soldiers after the war, because they promised these people land.
Yeah,
said if you fight, we'll give you land, and so they had to do it. In 1780, it was divided up again, and they kept dividing and making different shit, and this is now this county and this is that county. And then in 1818, Whitley County was finally created from a portion of Knox County, which is not where we are, by the way. No. That's just a nearby. Even though this is Whitley City, it's in a different county because it's Kentucky.
Yeah,
and
they have so many fucking counties.
There's a lot of counties in these places.
It is bananas.
Back east, there's just a shitload of counties.
It's really amazing.
Like in Arizona, all the counties are like big kind of square or kind of like...
Well, we've got 13 in this state.
Yeah, out west, they just kind of laid it out pretty easy. But back there, it was based on, negotiation. Mm-hmm. When you see weird borders, that's either a river or negotiation. You know what I mean?
River or argument.
Or argument of, I want 10 more feet. Well, I'll give you 5 more feet. Okay, and then you get a wiggly fucking border. Thanks a lot.
7.5.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Wiggly border, assholes. So there was a lot of nature is what they saw. First, they had, the Tellico Trail was around here, which is an Indian route that had been used for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. It was like this trail that people had used for thousands of years. And there was other trails that would intersect through that sort of thing, and other villages like Pine Knot, which is we'll talk about that a little bit later. A bunch of these places, the economy back then was based basically on people were farming what they ate. They weren't making much money. They had timber products. They made railroad ties and shit for barrels and things like that. And there was small coal mines. Like it wasn't even being exploited. If you were just going to exploit it for resources and money, that even wasn't even done properly. It was just kind of nobody gave a shit, basically. People, they developed a little bit, and people started coming more to the area to see the touristy type shit, the outdoor stuff, because people like nature. Even back then, when there wasn't a lot of technology and shit, they still liked nature, even though their house was basically nature. Your house was nature in the 1800s.
That's a damn good point.
It really was. Yeah. It was a wall and a door, but otherwise it was just nature.
5 years ago, this was growing, and now it's not.
Well, also, there was no difference to outside or inside. You had the same shit, basically. If you put a chair outside, that's the same thing as your house. There's not like there's a TV and a heater and a refrigerator or anything and a toilet. It's just a fucking wall around so bears didn't get in. That's all it was. So, the Cincinnati Southern Railroad came through in 1880, and obviously that was once that happens, boy, that's when it happens here. Then they would have access to places to sell the timber and the coal, so then they would start making more timber and coal, or cutting down more timber and pulling out more coal.
You got a marketplace.
Yeah, you don't make either of those things, but they had a guy named Justus, Justus.
Oh yeah,
Justus S. Stearns. Justus S. Stearns Enterprises was there, and he had companies that did all sorts of shit, and was kind of this. I picture him like the real rich guy of the area. All the coal miners live like on his lawn in little tents and shit, I feel like.
And he's not even that rich.
That's the thing.
Just
for
got
down
clothes
there.
On.
Yeah, he's just got, a house that's not on wheels and clothes on. That don't have holes in them.
Foundation and pants.
Yeah, that's pretty much a foundation that's big.
That's huge.
He's got
It's
Wait a
on
second.
concrete.
You can't even move your house. I don't know if that's a good idea. He can't even move it. It's stuck right where they built it.
Dumb bastard.
That ain't right. I'll tell you something. So this place here is during the Great Depression. He sold off quantities of land around here to the U.S. government that would become the Cumberland National Forest. This guy, the Stearns Justice. Yeah. He to avoid losing his ass. Who will buy this? Who will buy a bunch of fucking nowhere land in Kentucky? Right. The government is the only person who will buy it. So they bought it here. This county is poor. Mm-hmm. It's excessively poor. We'll talk about it more in the stats. But the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says McCreary County is 91.32% dependent on the federal government for SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and other government assistance programs.
That is far too much.
And food stamps. 91.32% of people get some sort of federal assistance here. Wow. Which is,
that's mind-blowing.
I've never heard that's,
how does that even
I'm
happen?
Speechless, and I just keep shrugging my shoulders. I'm like, how, why, what's going on?
Get the fuck out.
Run. It'd be cheaper. It'd be cheaper just to give these people money to go somewhere else. Yeah. Well, I mean, because it's clearly not. I don't know. There's just nothing. There's no opportunities except for recreation, and that's the fucking problem. And I feel like these people are like, we have nothing. Help us leave here. That would be the thing. Don't just help us stay here. Help us leave here. Fuck, man.
But if you give them let's say $5,000 is the number that gets each person out of there. You give somebody $5,000 that's in that position.
Yeah.
There's no way they're using that to.
Well, they owe money. They have bills because people You live paycheck to paycheck. You have bills, man.
There's
that's
zero
the way it is.
Chance that those people are using that to get
debt,
out.
You have everything. I mean, everyone's got that shit.
All it's gonna do is keep them there.
That's tough, man. Yeah, no, they need to come in and someone needs to come in and physically, come on, everybody on the truck, put grandma on top and we'll fucking Beverly Hillbilly style it right to wherever the hell you guys want to go.
Manually evict.
That's it. Shit. I voluntary. Yeah. Do you want to leave? Yes.
Would you like out?
This place is terrible. So, the development, because it's not like they're in a bad part of a city or they're in like a bad part of a shitty town. They're like on the trailer side of the town, wrong side of the tracks. There's no good side of the tracks.
The whole town's on the bad
This is just, and the whole area. Yeah. There's not even like you can go a town over and have opportunity.
That one sucks too?
It's all shit around here.
Fuck.
This is it's tough here. Industrial development started in the 1970s. They had a sewing industry here.
Hell yeah.
This all went overseas, obviously, by now, so there's nobody sewing in fucking Kentucky anymore. So timber was a bit of a factor in the economy still here. They had logging and hardwood and shit like that. But they've been trying to, the county's been trying to put together these like industrial parks to draw business, to draw these big businesses, and they built 3 of them and nobody showed up.
Oh no.
They're just like, we don't want to be there.
They just got available signs everywhere.
Opportunities. A lot of opportunity in this town. I'll put it that way here. A lot of opportunity. Agriculture, never real a big deal here. In 2002, only 5% of this county was farmland. Jeez. So for a rural place, there is really no agriculture, but there is livestock, hay, and forage.
Forage.
That
sounds terrible. That sounds like how they eat.
Yeah, it's their forage. They make the livestock forage for hay. I feel like if you want to make
we take the livestock with us to forage, and then we compete for who gets to eat tonight.
Yeah, and then it's if we can't find anything, we just eat the livestock. We keep it there. So there just isn't a lot going on here when it comes to McCreary County out of Kentucky. There's 120 counties. It's ranked 112th in agricultural production. So not a lot going on there. Tourism industry, a little bit. They look at historic coal mining and shit like that. It's really not that. There's not a lot of reason to go here. Got to be honest with you here. I found a resident review of it, it's 3 stars. Yeah. And that's pretty great. It's just kind of a boring review, but it gets the job done here. Quote, the great thing about Whitley City is it's small and has that great hometown feel to it. by the way.
Oh, boy.
Kept the spelling. Fell, F-E-L-L.
It's 2 L's.
2 L's, yeah, instead of feel, he's to fell to it. But with that being said, it's a place with very little attraction to get people or investment into our city. Whitley City has seen its heyday back in the 70s and 80s with the coal industry, but as the coal industry has went belly up, so has our city. And it wasn't even that great then. No. It really wasn't here. Population here, this is for the whole county. The whole county has 17,000 people in it right now, so not a lot. Our town, Whitley City, population 1,231 right now, which is up 8% since 1990. Okay. I assume that's just births and people hanging on for dear life.
Yeah.
And
life expectancy going a little deeper.
Yeah, that's it. Median age here is 41.5, which is about 4 years older than the normal. Male to female population out of whack like crazy. 58% male.
That's
a lot. I assume there's coal mining there, so that's going to be a reason. But 58% male is...
That makes 42.
We've never seen anything like that before. That is crazy. The ages are whacked out, too. They have 0% 75 to 84-year-olds.
None.
0. But the over 85 is more than double the average.
What?
So I don't understand. For some reason, nobody was born in this town from this year to that year, but then more people. I don't understand it. They have super elderly, but not a lot of. I don't know if they're.
I don't know what that is.
I don't understand how that's possible. Honestly, I don't. How is that possible?
Just that
Did they kill everybody under them? We're taking all the Social Security, damn it. I don't.
Is that generation dead from coal mining and then the others lasted?
I don't know. Were they all in fucking Korea or something? I have no idea what happened here. Also, double the 45 to 54-year-olds.
Okay.
And double the 5 to 9-year-olds.
Okay.
But then everything else is super low. It's real.
I suppose we could chalk it up to 1,200 people.
Everyone here is 90, 50, or 7. There is nobody in between. It's like your parent and your kid, and then it's the weirdest fucking place I've ever seen.
That is amazing.
Yeah, if it wasn't so blocked like that, I'd be like, oh, it's just an anomaly of small.
It's very specific.
1,200 is you're getting to a decent,
it's enough to tell.
Cross section here. Married population low, 36%, which is 58% male. So I mean, it's tough there. Divorce rate high, it's about 16%. Widow rate is 3 times the normal average here for widows, which you have 85-plus-year-olds who apparently married people about 10 years younger than them who are all dead.
But widows are just women, right? Or
no, that's widows.
Okay, it's widowers
also? It's just a married person with a dead spouse.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so like single with children is low. Single with no children, 35% of the population. It's normally 10%.
Yeah.
That's the highest I've ever seen. Race of this town, 91% white. Pretty white, 91.31% white, 3.9% black, 3.49% Asian, which is unexpected, and it's the best way to put it. I don't know, and 1.30% Hispanic.
Okay,
so nobody has found it yet there. Now, religion, 21.9% religious, so it's as low as we've had. Nobody, which is strange for Kentucky.
This town is bizarre as fuck.
It's a weird town. It's the town from Nothing But Trouble, I feel like. It's super strange. Out of those people, 16.7% of the people are Baptist, obviously. Yeah. Baptists are Catholics of the South, obviously, here. A couple of Methodists and some Pentecostals here. 0.0% Jewish, 0.0% Muslim. They're just like, I don't think so. No. I'll watch the PBS special on this town when it comes out. Thank you. When Ken Burns gets there, I'll find out about it.
Give me some front line about this shit.
Yeah. As far as politics go, in the last election, 87% Republican in this town, 11% Democrat, the rest independent. McCreary County has that's in the county, not the town.
Got it.
McCreary County has only once voted for a non-Republican for president.
Who was it?
Only once, and that was the year. No. That was the year of when the Republican Party kind of it was the year when Theodore Roosevelt and Teddy Roosevelt ran as a progressive, and he was a Republican before that, but then he just sat out the one
for him.
and ran again as a progressive, and they voted for him because he's insane.
Yeah.
Teddy Roosevelt's a fucking lunatic, and they were like, he's the only one crazy enough for us.
Was Dukakis
he was a Democrat from Massachusetts. Yeah. No, but they definitely didn't vote for him.
Right.
But yeah, that's the only time, and that was in, I want to say, like 1908 or some shit like that, like 1910. So it's been 100 years since this county has gone anything but that. So here, and also too, they voted for him so heavily that the President William Howard Taft was only at 18.1% of the vote.
Unbelievable.
So it was that heavy in there. Unemployment rate here is about 6%, which is high for now. Now it's under 4% in the rest of the country. Here it's 6%. Median household income. Rest of the country, $57,600.
Oh, I'm braced.
Here, $17,683.
What do you do?
Per capita, $6,830.
How do you do that?
Per person. 65% of the people make under $15,000 a year. 81% of the people make under $20,000 a year. 81%. Make under $20,000 a year.
Now that 91% being on the government teat makes sense.
So I mean, it has to.
You have to.
Everybody
no
be
choice.
dead. Everybody be living in the woods, foraging for hay and livestock.
I can't imagine sticking around.
It's crazy. Construction is 57.3% of the jobs here. It's construction. And they're not building anything.
No.
So that's just people who write down construction because that's what they know how to do and that's what they've done here and there. That's it. 31% retail trade, nothing else. The rest is like food services, restaurants and shit.
Fucking
There's no
mind-blowing.
fucking jobs here. It's ridiculous. Cost of living should be nothing. Should be 2. 100 is regular average par.
Right.
Here it's 80. It's 85 here, which, you know, if you're rural, certain things are more expensive, like transportation and stuff like that. But housing is not. Housing is 31.
Okay.
And the median home cost here is $49,200. Very, very cheap. Most of the houses, about 70% of the houses are under $60,000 here. So that it would have to be if everyone makes under 20,000. And if we've convinced you
I'm riveted.
to go to Whitley City and be the you're going to take it all, you're going to make it better.
Yeah.
We have for you the Whitley City, Kentucky Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom apartment here is about, or 2-bedroom rental is about $618. Your 2-bedroom trailer, let's be realistic here. I found, now these are all houses that are on foundations. These are real houses, and those aren't easy to find here. I found a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,000 square foot place for $62,900. It's really rough. It's got to need some work. I found a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,066 square foot place for $63,000. Extra $100, you get 66 more square feet.
Deal.
That's good there. And then if you want to stretch out, you're the Justice Stearns and you're the Baron of the coal mine. I found a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath, 1,495 square foot mansion for $139,900. So,
wow.
Yes.
That's the tip of the iceberg.
That's it, babe. That's the one.
That's the king of the hill.
That's the king house right there.
1,500 square feet.
Top of the hill. You're sitting down overlooking everybody going, look at that trash.
That's the guy with the pants.
Look at the trash down there. Hold on. Let me put my rope belt on because I do have pants.
Yeah.
I don't have a belt, but I have pants. Things to do. I found the Blazin' Bluegrass Festival.
I'm
in Big South Fork here. It is this. Wow. It's at the Sand Hill RV Camp.
I'm out.
In Whitley City, Kentucky. So, it says here, if you missed the Blazin' Bluegrass Festival 2018, you missed the best festival ever. You asshole. Doesn't say that. I wish it did. You cocksucker. But they're
fucking pussy.
By the way, this is what they're all about here. The Bluegrass, their radio station here, and I shit you not, is WHAY. W-Hay. That's how much they're into country here. It is W-Hay. No shit. I found a little bit of their lineup for the Blazin' Bluegrass.
Hey, because that W is silent.
Yeah, it's a hey. Hey now. So I found a sample of their schedule of bands here. I've never heard of any of these people. Double Portion, C.F. Bailey, the Grand View Pickers. I hope they mean an instrument and not their noses.
Or their ass.
Dean Osborne and Friends. It's not just Dean.
No.
I wasn't going to go. And they said, he's bringing friends. Dean's bringing friends. Get the kids in the car. Put Grandma on the roof. Dean's bringing fucking friends to the Bluegrass Festival.
I know he's terrible, but maybe his buddy's good.
I bet they are. The Baker family. I don't know. The Johnsons were pretty good, so why not the Bakers? Open Rail. There's a bunch of hobos, probably. Yeah. Deeper Shade of Blue.
What?
Okay. The Dave Atkins Band. The Primitive Quartet. We got there. So they're going to all be there. And there's a few other ones here. Steve Gully and the New Pinnacle.
This is bad.
Is it Larry Cordell and the Lonesome Standard Time Band?
Why do they get such a weird name? But he gets to throw Larry Cordell.
Cordell.
You heard me?
See?
And then these fucking jerks.
Oh, they're the Lonesome Standard Time. But you know how it works. Crime rate in this town.
What the shit?
Crime, and this is shocking. The crime rate is what shocked me the most so far. You would think the crime would be off the charts bonkers here. Crime rate, property crime is about 25% low, under the national average, and violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault is about half the national average.
Incredible.
So I don't understand if they just don't have the gumption.
They're exhausted
steal.
from trying to make money.
That's what I mean. Or it's just labor is tired. I don't know what the fuck is going on here, but these are apparently honest and very poor people.
They're too busy running applications around town.
That's true. Plus, so many of them are between the ages of 5 and 9 or 85 and 100 that is really, they don't have a lot of wherewithal to commit crime.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back.
Do it.
That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your
all different.
Multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure, yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Really? So it's difficult for them. Either way.
They all have a bedtime before crime starts.
That's the thing. And then the walker gets in the way of crime otherwise.
They're all in bed before 8 p.m.
Yeah, none of them have a reliable rascal scooter they can escape on. It's some government-used one that they got. Jesus Christ. Either way, I think we should talk about a murder that happened here. We should almost call it an escape, I should say, rather than a murder if they got out of this fucking town. I apologize. Yeah. That's a terrible thing to say, but it's also kind of true. It's it's sort of true. But this murder here,
I put that together way too late.
I saw you kind of looking at me like, I don't know what you're talking. Oh,
Jesus.
That's super mean.
I see where you're going.
Yeah, that was definitely not a shot at the people who will die. That was a shot at the town.
And the people who will live.
The living. That's a shot at the living residents of this town. And I would say, I apologize if you live in this town, but you probably don't have electricity to charge your phone to fucking listen to this. So I'm not real worried about you listening.
Not a chance you have in the internet.
Exactly. It's one of those, back in the day, people would say, on the radio, who cares what you say about deaf people? They can't hear you anyway. I feel like that's what we're doing here. We're on the fucking internet. They're like, the what now? The way now? What, pray tell.
What time's that show come on the way?
What time's the internet come on the W way? So let's talk about this murder. To do this, we have to go back in time. Not too far, though. We're not going to go, because it feels like with this episode,
it's far enough.
So, I mean, if you go back to like 82, it might as well be the Depression. I picture like hobos coming in with bindles and guys on the back of like fruit carts jumping off like, thanks, waving. This is far enough.
That happened this afternoon.
Hope there's work in this town. That's what's going on here. We're going to go back to 1997. Okay. March 9th, 1997, as a matter of fact. The day Biggie died.
Yeah.
This is not the murder of Biggie Smalls, which I could get into in great detail. Oh,
Jesus.
Believe me. See, I hit my microphone.
You got so excited you punched the mic.
Great detail. I could get into the murder of Biggie Smalls. Okay. Believe me, I've read and seen way too much on this.
You were in the age of prime right then.
Oh, God. I was pissed.
Something.
I was fucking mad. I was like, wow. But now, like, all the shit that's come out later and all the facts, and I have my theories.
All right.
I have my theories on Biggie. It's definitely, it's all intertwined with the Tupac thing, which is the weirdest part. You wouldn't think it would be, oh, that's all sensationalistic.
No.
But it actually is. Just based on other factors, though, kind of that are coincidental. It's a weird thing. Did he shady?
Why's your best friend dead? That's weird.
He's so shady.
Don't be so close to that guy ever.
He's so shady.
Don't be friends with him.
Oh, he's
ever.
so shady.
If you value your life, don't be friends with Diddy.
Okay, at least Suge Knight lets you know what the fuck he is.
He tells you right up front.
You
dangerous as fuck.
Well, you don't even have to hear it from him. You can just look at his face. He looks like I will fucking run you over with my truck. During a joyous occasion.
On camera.
During a joyous occasion on film.
With zero smiles because my face isn't
I don't even have to. I'm not even mad at you.
No.
I'll just run you over and not care. That's how it works. But like, that's what he does. Whereas Puff Daddy comes across like, hey, I'm in a dance hall. Look at me in my fucking shiny suit. Look at me. Hey, I'm all nice and shit. And then under the cover. Yeah,
I'm going to borrow some songs from somebody.
Behind closed doors.
Oh, boy.
He's got all sorts of triangle. And then he does that shit.
Drink of this vodka and be drunk so that you don't know what I'm doing.
Who knows what he's doing? Who knows what he's doing? We don't know that at all. But we do know some shady stuff that he did, kind of underworld shit that he's involved in. Yeah. But that's fine. Anyway, so all the way back to March 9th, Biggie is dead. Very, very sad. These people have no idea, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They have not heard the news, let's just say. Here, it didn't come in on W Hay.
No.
They didn't announce it over the W Hay.
Yeah.
And I feel like that also comes in over the TV.
Yeah.
It's just like the color old school like barcode color test with radio playing over it. I feel like that's what their TV is. If you move your antenna just the right way, though, obviously, otherwise you're not going to get it. Not going to work. So March 9th, 1997. Jesus Christ.
In between Little Big Town and Craig Morgan replays.
That's how it works. Wilma Jean Ferrier. She's a 26-year-old woman, goes by Jean. Jean, or Willa Jean, I'm sorry. And she likes Jean better than Willa.
Yeah.
So, Jean Ferrier, she's a 26-year-old girl here. She lives in Whitley City, has a trailer there, and her mother is trying to reach her all day and could not get a hold of her. Can't get a hold of Jean all day long, so her mother decides to call the police to investigate it. Where I can't get a hold of my daughter.
Somebody check on her.
I called her over and over. She's supposed to be home and she's not there, and there's really nothing else going on in the town, so what the fuck. It's not like, well, we're backed up with calls. You're going to have to call 911 if you have an emergency. They're just like, Wilma, is that you? Yeah, we'll go check on Jean. No problem. She's still in the old trailer on the green one okay, sure. They all know each other.
We're on our way.
That's fine. He just calls the cops on the CB.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Breaker 19. I got a police request for some police on the. So she calls. The police come over. They investigate the trailer. They enter the trailer, and it's a Sunday afternoon. And what they find is a little bit frightening here. In the back of the trailer, there's 2 bedrooms, and in one bedroom, they find the body of 22-year-old Crystal Conister there, and also of Jean Ferrier, who's 26 years old. And then in another bedroom, they find the body of 38-year-old Chris R. Boswell.
Holy shit.
So 2 women and a man.
3 people.
3 people, 26, 22, and 38 years old.
That's like 3% of the population.
That's, a lot of the population right there.
Yeah.
Done. So they were all found. Now, Jean lives there, and Crystal is her close friend. And Chris, they don't know how he relates to this Chris Boswell. They only know him from identification they find in the place. Yeah. It's the only way they find out who he is. So all have been shot to death with some stank on it.
Okay.
They've been shot and shot again. Yeah.
Shot a lot.
And also, Jean had been choked prior to being shot.
Good Lord.
So this is a pretty brutal scene in general. And then you look at it right away and you go, okay, there's 3 people. 3 people dead,
right.
All shot, one of them's choked. So you try to put that together and you go, okay, well,
she was the main one.
Either she's the main one or she has to be, at least she has to be the last one probably.
Oh.
Or maybe not. Or maybe he was choking her. Other people came in, tried to intervene. He shot them and then said, fuck choking, I'm going to shoot her.
Okay.
You got to think about, that. Because if there's 3 people, you can't choke and shoot 3 people at the same time.
Point.
That's a difficult thing. Just the logistics of it.
Yeah.
She either has to be first or last
I'm bad
on the
at
list. Yeah, I'm
really bad at
an
that.
investigation.
Yeah.
Well, it's lucky you're not a homicide detective then. It's probably for the best. It's good. It helps us all. I'm happy I'm not also, because I don't think I'd be very good at it either.
That's a clever thought, though. Because
I'm just trying to think of, she's got to be first or last.
Yeah, that's it. You don't shoot somebody and then start choking somebody and then somebody else is in the room.
That's what I mean. There has to be some sort of something, either that caused but then if that caused a fight, wouldn't there be a struggle with those people?
Right.
So maybe he shot them and then went after her, or maybe he went after her and then they came out and said, what are those gunshots, and then got shot for that.
Gotcha.
It's got to be first or last in my mind anyway, here. Now, okay, what the fuck happened? Obviously, these people, they look around, they're not, how place hasn't been ransacked. It's not a robbery.
And we got 2 that are known to each other, and then some random dude, we have no idea who that is.
Yeah, some random guy who's older too, 38 as opposed to 26 and 22.
Right.
So you're like, that's an odd thing. It doesn't belong, and you wonder, like, they don't have, like, this isn't like, they're the drug dealers that the cops have been putting a case together on. None of that shit here. They're not known for, this isn't known as like a place where, crazy shit goes down and where the Mexican mafia hangs out or anything. Okay. You know, like it's just a trailer where some kids chill and, you know, hang out, and people in their 20s. So it's a very odd thing. So they have to put together what the fuck happened. Well, who's the last person that saw them alive is a good place to start there. So they end up finding that out. They track down the last person to see them alive is a 16-year-old girl named April Sexton. Apparently, April Sexton had been dropped off at her trailer by this group at 12:30 or 1 a.m. the night before.
How old is she?
She is 16 years old. I don't understand this.
What the fuck?
We'll find out why. They went out dancing, and we'll find out about this, and they go out all the time. But a 26-year-old, a 22-year-old, and a 16-year-old who aren't related went out. I could see if like the 16-year-old was the two older girls' little cousin and they were taking her out or something like that, but that's none of that. They're just friends, which is weird.
And a 38-year-old guy.
Yeah. Well, that he was on the thing too.
What's that dude hanging out with a 16-year-old for?
This group ranges from 16 to 38 with shit in between. It's I get that the ages are sporadic in this town, and somebody might have been 87 and somebody could have been 6 in the car also, and it would have made sense. But this is weird shit. This is just strange. So
their pal Myrtle and their little buddy Archie.
Yeah, it's so fucking weird, dude.
This is bananas.
This is a weird case right away. So apparently, they were out, and April was dropped off at her trailer at 12:30 or 1 a.m. So she was the last person to, you know, be in contact with them. And then they drove after that. Their next movement was to the trailer of a man named Gary Roberts.
Yeah.
Now, Gary Roberts has been involved with Jean in a relationship for a little while here. And so that's been going on. We'll talk about that.
Case closed.
They stop. They honk the horn at Gary Roberts' house and then drive away and go to Jean's trailer. That's how this worked. Now, I don't know if they were just like, that might have been like, she told them they were going out, and he said, hey, just honk the horn as you drive by. Let me know that you're getting home safe. That sort of thing, because they live close to each other. It's a small town. But I mean, I feel like that's probably what it was. One of those, like, as you're coming home, honk, so I know you're safe.
Okay.
Type of shit. Rather than call me. Like now it would be like, hey, send me a text when you get home. Let me know. But that wasn't an option in 1997.
I've never heard of that as a
I
thing.
haven't either.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's what it was.
All right.
Like a honk just to be like, hey, we're driving by.
As a latchkey dude, I just crawled into bed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is a boyfriend.
Yeah, these are adults.
Yeah, these are adults. Right. Just, hey, make sure you didn't get killed and thrown in the woods or something. So where the fuck were they is a good question. On the night of March 9th, they were, because March 10th they were discovered. That's the Sunday. The Saturday is March 9th. That's when this all went down. On March 9th, they all go out. 26-year-old Jean, 22-year-old Crystal, 16-year-old April Sexton. They all go out together. They leave McCreary County and they go to a country music dance hall in Somerset. Because there's nowhere to. Right. There's not a lot of dancing.
The Bluegrass Festival isn't here yet.
It's not happening yet, and there's not a lot of places to dance to Achy Breaky Heart in around where they are. Okay. So they're like, we need to find some good dancing. So they go to this Somerset. Apparently they did this just about every Friday and Saturday night. This group went dancing at this place in Somerset, which sounds terrible, but this is all they have. Okay. Literally, it's either this or there's other opportunities for recreation, which we talked about, which is you can go outside and look at the grass and trees and climb them. That's what you can fucking do. Okay. Set up a badminton net. No one's stopping you. Opportunity is what I told you. Jesus Christ. So
you could take coat hangers and make a croquette, because I'm not pronouncing that French shit.
Did anybody tell you not to? Is that what it said? Opportunities for recreation except hanger croquette? That's not what I said. You dumb son of a bitch. Do it. So they went there all the time, apparently. This was a thing. Now, while they were there, they meet Chris Boswell. Okay. That's where he comes from. He is from the club. So this 38-year-old dude went out country dancing on a Saturday night and fucking met some chicks. Met some younger chicks and got lucky. Good for him. He meets Crystal. He meets 22-year-old Crystal, and they get a little groove on.
Yeah.
They dance while they're there, and have a good time.
I dare you, James. I defy you to learn how to two-step and then go two-step and then see if Sarah doesn't go, get your fucking hands off her. I see how sexy. It's the most fun thing in the world, and you will have so much fun that somebody will think that you two are together.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That's what this... That's what the
fuck are you talking
country
about?
dancing is the most fun thing ever.
If you're a hillbilly, I don't find that fun. I don't.
Look you
If I hear that fucking music, I don't want to dance. I want to find the source of it and make it stop. I'm not going, well, how can I? Let's do a little ditty. I want to kill who's playing it. And then interrogate everybody else of why they weren't doing it also. Why we weren't hunting this man down together.
What the fuck are you talking about? He says to me.
Despise. Nothing I hate more than country music.
All right.
It is fingernails on a chalkboard plus like
None
fucking
of
10
it.
puppies being
You
run
don't
over by a
like
Mack
any of
truck.
it.
If it's from like the 60s,
That's
I
what
like
mean.
some shit like that.
You can dance to it.
I'm not dancing to good music. I'm not. You don't dance to that. How white are you, Jimmy? Jesus Christ, man.
I'm telling you, it is so much fun.
No. You dance to Motown if you're going to dance. You don't dance to fucking old sad people with alcohol problems telling you about it. That's not danceable. What the fuck is wrong with you people? By that, I mean country fans. I'm white also, but still.
Oh, the look, the disgust.
No, I can't. I don't like it. I can't take it. I'm from New York, Jimmy. I didn't hear country music till I moved out here. I didn't even know it. I thought it was like a joke, like, oh yeah, people have listened to country music. Then I moved out here and people seriously listen to country music. I was like, oh, they make that shit still?
I'm crying.
I thought the last country album came out in 1974. I really did. I thought like Johnny Cash put out an album and that was it.
Just quit.
Everyone
said,
said,
it
fuck
get
it.
better than this.
That's it.
Try?
We're not trying anymore. We stopped. And then Billy Ray Cyrus came on the scene and I was like, holy shit, the Rednecks are still active. Wow. What the fuck is going on? So I don't know. That went right by and over and around my ass.
I'm telling you, it's fun.
You seem to be very serious about that, so I'm going to take your word for it. I bet you'd be full of joy doing that. I'd like to watch you do that just because you'd be happy.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
You watch me do it and be like, are those two together?
But through plexiglass, so I can't hear the music. I want like two-way glass. I don't want to hear it. But if I could observe from the outside,
holy shit,
just maybe with binoculars, I could watch you having fun. I'd go, oh, look at Jimmy. Looks like he's having a good time. And that makes me happy because I like to watch you. I like you having fun. I like you. You're a good person.
It's got an earphone jacket. You pick the headphones up and go, is it still country? It's still
country, yeah.
Throw the
I just have something in my earbuds, something else going on. Pretend you're...
Oh, God, it hurts so bad.
Pretend you're dancing to fucking Biggie. I don't know. Whatever. Right. Jesus Christ, that's awesome.
Oh, Jesus, I've got a cramp. It hurts so bad.
That's so funny too, because half our audience is going to be like, "It's the best. You need to do it," and then the other half is going to be like, "James,
right.
don't fucking listen to that shit. Don't dance with rednecks." So that's what's going to be funny. I love it.
All right.
All right. So they meet Chris Boswell and Crystal apparently make this connection that Jimmy's talking about. They thought they were together too, as a matter of fact. So, you know what? I'm going to take your word for it because you're apparently right. Okay. It worked for 38-year-old Chris Boswell and a 22-year-old, so fuck it.
On second thought, cut that shit off. I don't want it. That's too much.
It's too much.
22?
22 and 38. Yeah.
I mean, for him, but that's a bit. Yeah, it's a bit much.
It's a stretch. Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch. So afterwards, Chris leaves with the women in the car, which that's weird. If you're 38 and you're like, cool, I'm getting with this 22-year-old, that's all fine and dandy, I guess, if that's what you want to do. But aren't you like, you got a 16-year-old in the car? Yeah. I'm 38. I can't get in the car with a 16-year-old. No. I can't leave a bar with a 16-year-old girl in the vehicle. No. Like, I can't do that. No. If we get pulled over, I'm just going to jail. They're not going to even know why. They'll figure it out when we get to the station, but they're definitely taking me in cuffs and then figuring it out later. They're going to think I touched her.
You're up to something. You probably deserve this. We're just going to hold you.
Let's just do hands behind your back for now. Let's just for now. okay, we'll figure it out later.
You'll just get out and go, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. And just put them back down.
She's 6. Okay, yeah.
They naturally go right above your butt.
Absolutely. So, Crystal, April, Chris, and Jean all leave the place. On the way home, they drop off April, 12:30 or 1 o'clock. They stop by Gary Roberts' driveway, honk, drive to Jean's trailer, like we talked about. Now, in Somerset, at the club that night, though, there was some fear that they had earlier. This all seems like a fun night, but when they got to the club, they weren't all that.
The whole group had some fear?
The whole group. The 3 girls had fear because they showed up. It was just Jean, Crystal, and April when they showed up. They picked Chris up later.
Okay.
When they get there, apparently Jean was afraid. And when she got there, she circled the parking lot 3 times before she parked because she wanted to make sure that someone in particular was not there that she's afraid of. So that's a bad sign. But then once she got into the evening, and once they were going, you get in there, nothing bad happens. Right. You dance for a couple hours, you have a few drinks. This girl meets him, meets Chris. Right. Everybody's having a good time, and then you forget about that guy's not here. Who cares? Right. So apparently she was circled the parking lot out of fear, and then finally parked. She is afraid, 26-year-old Jean, of a guy named John Roscoe Garland, who is her ex-boyfriend, and she is sort of an on and off relationship with him. He is 54 years old. So,
I mean, I get it. The ages are all fucked up.
The ages are all fucked up, and I feel like in this town there just isn't that much. Who knows what's available?
Right.
Who knows how many 26-year-old people there are to fucking try to find? Right. So if you find 54 or whatever,
that's weird though.
So it's weird. That's a big age.
That's
difference.
too much.
That's a big That's
your 30s and your 40s.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot there. Yeah. I don't know what you have in common there, but 54.
Yeah. You're alive.
Yeah, exactly. So she is also, but this relationship that she had with John Roscoe Garland has ended and kind of run its course. And in the last few weeks, she's been in another relationship with a man named Gary Roberts, who is the guy who they stopped in his driveway and honked the horn.
Okay.
So they look at it this way, and they're looking at it going, okay, we have Gary Roberts, who knows that they were going to the trailer. That he beeped, they beeped to alert him. So he is currently in a relationship with her. That's a suspect right there, a current boyfriend. Yeah. And then John Roscoe Garland is the ex-boyfriend, obviously also a factor. And April tells everybody afterwards, tells police after the bodies are found, that Jean was in fear of John Roscoe Garland and circled the parking lot 3 times. So now what they also find in the trailer is they find an audio tape that discovers that it's an audio tape of John Roscoe Garland talking with Jean, and it is about her being pregnant. And she's saying she's pregnant, and he is saying that that he believes that Roberts is the father, and he's mad about that. That he thinks that Roberts is the father, even though they were just together, but she's also been with Gary. And the way the timing works out, he thinks it's her, he thinks it's Gary's, and he's upset about it there.
Okay.
So who the fuck is John Roscoe Garland?
I'm curious.
Let's get with that here. He's born July 24th, 1942. So he's, like we said, he's a 56-year-old at this point. He is from Pine Knot, a nearby town over here, not much better. He had worked for Crawford Steel in Cincinnati back in the day. Yeah. I mean, when the steel industry was pumping, I'm sure, probably in the 70s he's working there. He was a tool and die maker there. So I mean that doesn't go on in the Rust Belt much anymore.
Slow down a little bit.
A little bit. He's also a church guy, not heavily, but he would go to the Baptist church, make his appearance there. People said he was just kind of a wise ass kind of a guy, kind of a jokey kind of guy, not a real dour dude, not a grim Roscoe, we'll call him, not like that. He's a John Roscoe Garland here. He's not anything like that. He's known as kind of a jokester and shit like that.
Happy-go-lucky?
Sort of.
Outgoing?
Yeah. He's a storyteller, kind of jokey guy.
I like it.
He's that kind of guy. He works at the fucking steel plant. He's a storyteller. You know the guy we're talking about.
HR Nightmare.
Yeah, HR Nightmare. Yeah. He's like you at the... Yeah. So...
I'll bet he dances like a motherfucker.
I'm sure he does. He cuts a mean groove here. So he's been upset And he's let everyone know that he's been upset since Jean cut the relationship off with him. Okay. He has not been happy, and especially not happy that she started seeing Gary Roberts because I don't know why. Just she's jealous. Yeah, he's a jealous guy, and he's also older, and she's younger, and he's kind of possessive of her in that way.
Kind of from a specific generation where when a girl leaves you, it's a slight.
That's the thing, yeah. Now, he does believe that she's pregnant with Gary Roberts' child also, and so does Gary. Mm-hmm. Gary thinks the same thing. Gary thinks it's his, and so does John. So they both think it's Gary's. It's probably Gary's, we'll say, and so does she. So now, all this happens here. A month before this, in February, John Roscoe Garland told his son, Roscoe, who's just Roscoe, not a junior, but Roscoe Garland, that he was going to kill Jean because he was so mad. That comes out that he told his son a month before that he wanted to kill her. Mm-hmm. And then a week before this happened, on March 2nd, he fired his gun in the direction of her trailer.
Whoa.
He was just out there driving by. They live pretty close, up the hill. So he just would go outside and fire gunshots in the direction of her trailer.
Wow.
Just for, I don't know, shits and giggles. I don't know what kind of old westy, weird Yosemite Sam type shit that is to do.
Well, why isn't he arrested right then for that shit?
Because it's
Kentucky.
It's Kentucky. Seriously, where are they going to go? Because he could have been shooting anywhere. You don't know where he's shooting. He could have been shooting at fucking animals.
Would you get your trailer out of the way of his turkeys?
Yeah, come on, Jesus. This is a turkey trail, not a trailer park. You got the trail part right, but just the rest of it wrong.
Well,
that's
he was
problem.
Outdoors, and he found an opportunity.
That's what happens.
Right.
Now, he's been upset, and his son talks about that also. So firing shots there, and also that Saturday, March 9th, that afternoon, earlier, before they went out, the reason why Jean was scared of him, particularly that night, is that he fired shots into the ground near her trailer earlier in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So 2:00, he came over yelling and screaming and fired shots into the ground, which is disturbing behavior. He should be in jail for firing shots into the ground while he's threatening and yelling at somebody. You can't do that.
Why is that legal, Kentucky?
That's apparently legal in Kentucky, in rural southern Kentucky. That's fine to do.
That's crazy.
That's just considered emphasizing your point. It's called the Kentucky exclamation point.
It's called the Kentuck fuck. That's what that is.
It is. I think
where you throw a fuck on the end of a word.
Yeah, it's the exclamation point. It's a Kentuck exclamation point. That's what you call that. Rather than a fuck, which was a Arizona exclamation point, I believe we said. It was an Alabama exclamation point. Yeah. Alabama exclamation point is a fuck, and a Kentuck exclamation point is firing several shots into the ground in front of the domicile of your intended target.
An ex-girlfriend.
Or ex-girlfriend. Let's face it, ex-girlfriend. Yeah. It's always going to be the ex-girlfriend.
Just indiscriminate firing.
Into the ground. Pop, 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 pop. You can't do that. This guy's just always got a gun out firing shit. It's like even in an Old West movie, nobody took their gun out and just indiscriminately fired it. Bullets were expensive. What is this guy doing?
And as much as they were back then,
pow.
So much more now.
So
they're
expensive.
Crazy now.
I mean, just imagine this.
To waste the money?
Just walking around. What does he just have it in his hand all the time, too? That's the other thing. You have to keep taking it out. He might as well just walk around with it in his hand, I guess, because he's always got it out. He's always whipping it out, shooting at things.
Is he the rich guy in the neighborhood? Because according to your stats, the man makes $17,000. Why you wasting so many bullets, sir?
I think because I don't think they spend a lot of money on housing.
He probably reshells them.
I think so. I think he goes and pulls them out of trees and shit. He kills a deer. He's like, I'm going to find that son of a bitch. He goes in there with pliers.
I'll reshape that slug.
Pair of needle nose and just get it in there. I can make it work. It'll come out again. I don't know if it's going to rifle right, but it's going to come out. It's going to hit something. Just as long as it hits the ground in front of the trailer, it's fine. So, those are his ground bullets. These are my exclamation point bullets. I use them. They use once to shoot something, then it's an exclamation point, and then I just let it go.
Call these carpet bombers.
Because I ain't trash, you know what I mean? So, he, so this makes police go, we're going to be more suspicious of him than Gary Roberts. As a matter of fact, let's go pick him up. Let's go pick him up.
Let's have a chat today.
But they want to have a chat with him, but they can't find him. And they can't find him. They can't find him. And finally, they have a witness step forward. Yeah. You could consider him a star witness, steps forward. And we'll talk about him in a second. And it gives them the information that they need to make an arrest. Yeah. They do not make an arrest, though, until April 26th. 1997. So 6 weeks go by. Yeah. That's a long time here in frontier justice. That's a long time. So he ends up being found in Oneida, Tennessee. So he is kind of, he is found arrested outside of a hospital in Scott County, Tennessee. Apparently he was leaving the hospital, checking out of the hospital. He had just been released and he was picked up by the cops. He said, he was, I don't know what you mean.
I just left the hospital.
What do you want to talk to me for? Yeah, he didn't understand what was going on. They said that the what he was in the hospital for was unrelated to any of this shit. Okay. It wasn't like a
hangnail or something.
It was whatever the hell he had something. I don't know. He's in his 50s. Yeah. Might have a health problem now and then.
Maybe one of the reloads misfired.
You never know. So they arrest him and they say that an informant led them to the murder weapon, and which was found in a wooded area about 3 miles from the scene. Okay. So 3 miles from the scene in the woods, someone has to really know where that fucking gun is to go get it.
And 3 miles into the woods, that means
just away from here. Oh, okay. But still in the woods.
Somebody wanted it away from here, too.
Oh, yeah. But they didn't destroy it. They put it in the woods. So, they end up arresting him. And first thing he wants to know is, who the fuck the witness is. And it's Roscoe, his son. It's his own son. Roscoe had told the police that about a month before the murders, his father said he was going to kill Gene, like we discussed. He also describes what happened on March 9th. The afternoon, this is post Kentucky exclamation points in the ground in front of the trailer. Okay. So, Jesus Christ, this is fucking nuts here. So John Roscoe and his son Roscoe. So we're going to go John is the father, Roscoe is the son.
I'm on board.
So John and Roscoe, they were going to go to the London auto auction, which is not in any London that you've ever seen or heard of. They're going to go to the London auto auction, and there was a traffic jam. I don't know where there was so much traffic in Kentucky. I don't understand it, but I don't know how all the 5 to 9-year-olds and 85-plus-year-olds got in cars and got out there, but they did.
1,200 people trying to leave. It all got bottled up. They turned around and went home.
I don't know if there's one road with no lane lines and it's just a fucking, good luck kind of a thing.
Redneck Autobahn?
Yeah, barely fits 2 cars. It's just just white knuckle it all the way down if you need to get out of there. That's why nobody leaves ever. Right. They can't. The road's dangerous. The federal government won't build a new one. Damn it. So, due to a traffic jam, though, they said they were changing plans and they weren't going to do it. So they turn around and they instead follow Gene. This was at night. See, now this is the weird thing that I don't get, though, here. It's strange. He said they were going to go to the London auto auction and then changed plans and turned around and looked for Gene. But Gene was
a long traffic jam.
That's a long traffic jam. It's like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Right. So they weren't going to the auto auction at 1 o'clock in the morning. So it doesn't seem like an either or thing. It wasn't like we were either going to go to the auto auction or go stalk Gene. Right. It was like, it seems like you could do both, probably.
Or only do the stalking part.
Or the stalking part. But yeah, he says that they were going to go and they didn't. They came home and he says instead they ended up going and kind of hunting Gene down and finding her at this club and following her home to her trailer.
The two of them together.
Okay. This is, he brings his kid with him. This is what I mean. He would have had to have gone somewhere else and then his kid would have had to come with him also. His kid's a full grown man. He's not a child also. He's in his 20s and he has a criminal record as long as your fucking leg. His kid, by the way, when this is all going on, his kid is already ends up in jail in Tennessee for stealing guns or some shit. Like his kid is always in and out of jail. Okay. He's got a lot of legal problems, really long history of issues. Okay. So, but he says here, I don't know why the son would still be with him if he was going to go out and stalk his ex-girlfriend. Right. Like, want to come with me?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. If your son's a piece of shit,
I guess.
You figure he's not going to talk.
No, he's not going to talk, but yeah, why would he want to come with me?
I don't know.
I don't know. He's got to have something better to do. W. Hay's got to have something on.
I don't know. It's late at night. There's not a lot of recreation
I guess so.
opportunities.
That's true. There's not, very little. You know what? This is an opportunity.
Yeah, it is.
This is as much of an opportunity as you get. Like, you could follow someone and then shoot them. I mean, that's an opportunity you have. Could also put up a fucking badminton net, like we said earlier, so you never know.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
There's two of you.
Yeah. So they follow her. They follow her home and to the trailer. They watch them go inside in the trailer, and then apparently John gets out of the car and goes inside the trailer, and Roscoe out in the car can hear arguing inside. He can hear yelling and screaming and arguing in there. So now Roscoe gets out of the car and he goes inside too. Why?
What are you doing?
What the fuck? None of my concern.
Not my business.
None of my goddamn. I'll just fire off a couple exclamation points and let everyone know I'm out here.
I was in the bathroom.
You know how it goes here. So Roscoe ends up going inside the house also. Now at this point, they're both kind of toward the front door in the living room, just inside the door. And
two Roscoes.
Roscoe walks in and he's just inside the door, but just in front of him is John and Jean arguing right there. They're in the front of the trailer, right in the living room there, and they're arguing. And Roscoe said they both appeared to be disheveled from a fight. Wow. Okay, they both appeared to be disheveled from a fight, is what he said. And I guess at this point in time, while they're in the middle of an argument, Chris Boswell, the 38-year-old, comes out of the bedroom like half dressed. He comes out of one of the bedrooms with like his shirt off and, in shorts and like boxers. He comes out.
Oh, this ain't good.
This is going to be bad. So John turns around, sees this, and fucking shoots Chris.
Right now.
Takes his gun out, no exclamation point, shoots the shit out of Chris.
Oh, boy.
Chris ends up falling into a bedroom, and that's that. He dies right there.
Well, now we've got a situation.
So then he goes back toward Chris, toward the body, and ends up looking and seeing that Crystal is in there. And he just realizes what he just did.
Yeah, I shot the wrong dude with the wrong girl.
That dude wasn't fucking Jean. That dude was fucking Crystal.
Whoops-a-daisy.
But Crystal's here. Better shoot her, too. So he raises his gun. This is a .357, by the way.
Okay, I was going to guess a 38. No, it's always a 38 or a .357 with these people.
This is a .357. Yeah. He raises this .357 and shoots Crystal, and then, for good measure, looks down and shoots Chris again.
Wow.
And then says, you know what? I don't know. Goes back one more and shoots Crystal again.
Oh, no.
So he shoots each of them twice in like rotating succession, which is weird. He's got like a round-robin tournament happening here.
Well, now he's got 2 left.
Now he's got his son, and now he's got Jean.
No, I mean 2 rounds left.
2 rounds left, yeah. So now bang, 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 bang. Yeah. He shot them. So they are dead. 2 shots from a trailer range. Oh. We'll call close range. Doesn't have to be trailer range. Right. Anywhere inside of a single wide, a .357
close quarters.
Fuck you up, and 2 shots will kill you.
Yeah.
Especially down there, I feel like these guys know how to shoot because you have to like. Probably
he put it in the right neighborhood.
He put it in the right, and that's all you need to do with a .357. And usually, rural people shoot well.
Oh God,
we always find this in these cases. These rural people, they've hunted, they shoot well. It's like in the Civil War.
Yeah,
they got people that were farmers and shit, and they were great shots. They barely had to fucking train them. And all the city people were like, Jesus Christ, they're much better shots than us.
Well, we had to shoot well if we wanted to eat dinner. That's what happened.
No, literally, that's what it was. Like, well, we're used to hunting.
That's how we fucking survive around here.
The southern guys would say we're used to hunting squirrels.
Right.
You know how hard it is to fucking shoot a squirrel?
Fast that shit is?
It's much easier to hit a guy. Right. Like, it's that's what they'd say.
There's never a dude that runs as fast as a squirrel.
Never. And the guys, the Civil War, they're walking right at you. Not even sideways. You think they would have said sideways. Give them less area to hit. That's what I've wondered that since elementary school. Just off the subject for a moment. Since elementary school.
Why are you walking center mass straight ahead?
I never understood
That's crazy.
That. They taught us the Revolutionary War, and I'm like, and they showed us the thing, and they're like, they lined up, and I'm like,
hold on.
They lined up?
Yeah,
they lined up, and that's what they did, and you got shot, and I'm like, okay, that sounds, I guess, honorable, whatever. They wanted to kill each other, but then the Civil War, they just lined up in rows and then marched at each other, but there was no like honor to it. Like they didn't want to get shot. They didn't stand in the lines, but it made no sense. Turn sideways. Sideways, everybody.
At minimum, zigzag it.
Half of us won't get killed. Sideways in a long line. Right. So, I mean, you're going to shoot down the lanes here. Nobody sway from the fucking lanes, man. You're going to save so many guys. Half the guys could have been saved, I feel like, if we would have just marched sideways. Just teach them how to sidestep it, and we're so safe.
Holy shit. Well, grapevine walk it. Let's go.
That's it, man. You're safe. I mean, it's still going to be death, obviously, but no, those shots right in the middle of the chest, not so much. So, anyway, he shot Crystal, he shot Chris, they're both dead. So then he comes back to the living room and finds Jean.
And she's terrified now, because there's no reason not to be.
Oh, she's terrified. Yeah, he just shot everybody, and he's, been shooting. Gunplay and him are common, and now it's turned to death. So then he turns to Jean and he shoots her too. Have to. But this was after they said she had the choke marks on her. We think that's before
the fight.
That's the fight that happened originally. That this fight happened, and then that caused Chris to a fight that's so intense that people stopped fucking to figure out what it was. That's a pretty good fight. If you're fucking a stranger that you just met at a bar. To stop that in the middle of it and go, hold on, there's something going on out there.
There's definitely a fight.
What's going on? There has to be a serious confrontation going on, because otherwise you're going against all your better judgments anyway. So, like, at this point, what do you do?
All good judgments out the window.
Yeah, you're going to go investigate. So that's what we figure. That was a choking shot. Shoots those two, comes back, shoots him. So or shoots her. So rather than her being first or last, she's both. He's first and last,
Right.
which is the other option. It's either first, last, or first and then last.
My Christ.
One of the fucking two. Or
That's
one
a
of the
terrible
three.
option.
That's the worst option
Yeah.
possible, because then you get to watch everyone else get killed after you were terrified to begin with, and then get shot yourself also. So Roscoe, the son, also tells police that his father basically said that he was arguing with Jean, shot Boswell to prevent a fight, pretty much, and shot Crystal because she was there. And after a few minutes, apparently, this is the weird part. When he came back out, I forgot to mention this. When he came back out, she wasn't out in the living room, but she didn't leave. She went in like the bathroom. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Jean did. She went in like the bathroom and then came out after the shootings, and that's when he shot her.
Okay.
So I don't know why she didn't choose to try to climb out a window or something like that, but she went into another room and then came back out knowing that these gunshots
Maybe
had just
there was
happened.
no escape from whatever room she went
Maybe
into.
Those trailers have small windows in the bathroom. I'm not even joking around.
And some
They
of the
do.
bathrooms are like center.
Yeah, and they
it's
don't
like,
have shit.
You can't get out at all.
Yeah, that might have been it right there. Not sure, though. But anyway, she was shot also. This is what Roscoe, just to tell him how the whole thing went down. Now, Roscoe, the son, he does tell police, he admits that he helped his father cover everything up by burning clothing that they were wearing and hiding the .357 that used to belong to Roscoe. Okay. He said, it was my gun. I used to have it. And my dad was using it now, and, firing shots off into everywhere. Yeah. And, he's got that. So Roscoe tells the police that John, his father, told Roscoe to put the gun in a bag and to hide it. And then the very next day, John told his son to get him another gun, another .357, because he needs it.
Yeah.
Because they said, quote, as everyone knows, John always carries a gun. He's apparently always has a gun on him. And it's .357 is his gun of choice.
Yeah, that's his thing.
Always has it, always whipping it out, firing it off.
I mean,
it's only, I don't know how he went this long, 50-something years in life without shooting somebody else. He's
as much as he's just licking off shots.
Indiscriminate fucking shot fire. It seems like you would
accidentally hit somebody at some point.
Yeah.
You weren't always this good a shot.
That's the thing. Yeah, you are. It's so strange. So, I don't know. So he did that. Now, John, the next day, I guess, John gave Roscoe, his son's girlfriend, money to buy a gun from a guy named Clayton Stevens, to buy another .357 from him. So he does. He buys another .357 from Clayton Stevens. So the very next day, he's already packing again.
He's already shopping.
Who the fuck else does he have left to shoot?
Yeah.
You shot 3 people. Or you think you're going to chill? What are the odds you're going to have to shoot somebody again today? Like,
how
what
many
are the odds?
X's you got, bro?
Oh, yeah. How many people you got problems with here? So, now, apparently here, that was the son claims that the thing that set him off into the shooting frenzy was Chris walking out in his underwear. That, apparently made him go, oh, you're fucking this guy now, too. I thought you were fucking the other guy. You're pregnant with maybe my kid, maybe this one's, and now you're fucking this guy. Shots fired.
But you shoot him!
Exclamation point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a crazy target. You know what I mean?
It's
That's
insane. The
so
whole thing's
silly.
nuts.
It's not his.
No, the fuck does he know?
No matter what scenario you just cooked up in your head of what just happened, that's not your target, bro.
But that would be the most understandable murder, because you could see somebody flying into a rage and just doing, that you could see. That's like when they say crime of passion. That's the definition of a crime of passion, is you walk in and you're arguing and then you see somebody who's been fucking your... That would make somebody snap.
Justifies your rage.
That in your head, not legally, but in your head. But that would be, under the terms of the law, extreme emotional disturbance, though, to where you can at least, that's a mitigating factor of, hey, obviously, normally I wouldn't do this, but the extreme, crazy scenario of seeing that made me snap, and that, usually will get you off the death penalty at least, or something like that. So, so they concentrate on this audio cassette that he made a month before, where he was saying that he, on the tape, John, the father, is heard to say that he knows Jean is pregnant and that he would love the baby even though he knows that Gary Roberts is the father. So that's what he was saying on the tape. Like, I wouldn't treat your baby different just because it's Gary's and blah, blah, blah. Like, he's trying to reconcile with her that way. And Gary Roberts told police that he dated Jean for 4 or 5 months before she was shot, and that Jean was about a little over a month pregnant with his baby at the time she was shot. Yeah. That's what they said. Autopsy report, though, says that Jean, not even fucking pregnant. She ain't even pregnant.
Oh, my God.
She told both those guys she's pregnant.
Oh, shit.
She's not pregnant and hasn't been recently.
What the fuck?
Jean was never pregnant.
Oh, Jean. What did you do that for?
For the last month, though,
yeah,
everybody's thought she's pregnant.
That's a terrible
and
lie.
like definitely pregnant. Like everybody, like they were like, okay, well, let's make plans for the baby type thing. And not pregnant. So these two. Yeah, this is the thing. Like,
not a reason to shoot somebody.
No, God,
holy
no.
Holy shit, what a shitty lie to tell.
No. But it's a terrible lie to tell anybody, but to make something like that up. But this is a...
But let's say, for instance, maybe she really genuinely thinks that. She just hasn't taken a pregnancy test. She's too scared to.
Apparently that she told everybody she was positive on a pregnancy test. That was the thing. If she was just saying, I think I'm pregnant, that would be a different story. But no, this was, I'm pregnant. What are we going to do? Okay. Oh, shit, it's Gary's, blah, blah, blah. So this whole thing... he originally is mad because he thinks she's pregnant and he thinks it's his, which he's happy about. Then he finds out it's not his, so he's mad about that. So he goes over there and sees what he thinks is another guy fucking her, which it isn't. So she's not pregnant for that original thing, and that guy's not fucking her. This is all a huge misunderstanding.
Not misunderstanding.
Everything.
It's
a lie, misunderstanding,
a story that a
manipulation.
Dude cooked up in his own fucking head.
With help from, she definitely sprinkled some cheese and salt on it and shit. I mean, she dressed that fucker like, she seasoned it. I mean, the whole thing doesn't start without that, but you don't expect, I don't care what somebody lies to you about, you can't shoot them. That's not an okay thing. No. You can be mad at them for that. If he went over and said, I found out you're not pregnant, you're a horrible human being, and I think you're a piece of shit, and you've been blah, 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 fuck you, I never want to see you again, completely understandable.
Legal.
Can't choke or shoot.
No.
That's where you draw, that's the line right there. And he went over there, and the Chris thing, and he was like, you're fucking this guy too now? I'll shoot everybody. I don't give a fuck.
You can see it happen.
Oh, you could 100% see this, especially in a guy like this who's not all, kind of all there. And then when he hears the pregnancy thing, that she's not pregnant now later on, I'm sure when he's in jail, he finds that out and he's going to be like,
This is why you don't date somebody you shouldn't be dating. Do you know what I mean? Because when you see that somebody is, I don't know, whether it's above what you should be dating or just beyond just out of your league.
Not even out of your league, out of your comfort zone almost. I know that sounds terrible because you should give everybody a chance, and sometimes opposites do attract, but for the most part, they fire off Kentucky exclamation points in the front of their trailer. That's the problem.
It causes so many insecurities when you're 50-fuck-6 and you're dating a 26-year-old.
That's the thing. Jesus. Unless you're excessively wealthy and you go, I don't care if she leaves, I'll find her.
10 more her tomorrow.
I'll get 1-2 years younger tomorrow. Wealthy guys, that's a different story. But if you're 54 and you live in a fucking trailer and the 26-year-old you were banging is pregnant with some other guy's fucking kid, that might be the end of your world at that point. You might... So, so he, when they arrest John, he denies committing the murders. He says, I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't shoot anybody. Roscoe is lying. My son's a fucking liar. And that gun that you say that is mine is actually his. Okay. So you want to talk to anybody about a murder, that's the guy to talk to, not me. Okay. Roscoe's the one who showed you where the weapon was, and it's his weapon, and he seems to know everything that happened. So I don't know why you're fucking talking to me. That's his response.
Logical.
Which is logical. Yeah, it is logical. He says that he tells the officers, John does, that he spent that night of the 9th with Roscoe. Yet he says that later on, this is where he says, yes, we were going to go to the London auto auction, but then we didn't go. And that actually happened. But that's when me and Roscoe split up. He said that's when he went on his way and I went on my way. He said that he ended up going to London, where the auto auction was, to visit his ex-wife, Eula. E-U-L-A. Eula Isgrig.
Yeah.
With 2 G's at the end. It's a weird name. Not McCreary County.
Not Kentucky.
Not Kentucky. So he's going to go visit his ex-wife, Eula. Mm-hmm. That's his story. Now, Eula said that at first they asked Eula about that, and she said that she hadn't seen him for some time, but he did come over to her house the Monday after the bodies were found. Okay. Shot Saturday night, bodies found Sunday. He came over to her house Monday, but later on, the next day, she went to police and changed her story. And said, actually, it wasn't Monday. He came to her house about 2:00 in the morning on Saturday night, which is what he says he did.
Okay.
So now she goes, no, he was there. My bad. I was 2 days off. Instead of it being Monday afternoon, it was actually the middle of the night Saturday. So you know how that goes. You get things mixed up.
Sometimes you confuse them.
I get shit like that mixed up all the time.
Sun down, who knows?
Notice one thing, too. Monday afternoon, none of these people were coming from where?
Work.
Yeah,
that's the other question. How do you not know the difference? Because you should have been at work, Eula.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I honestly don't think anyone here can help it, though. I honestly don't think it's for lack of trying. I think it's just
lack of opportunity.
Unless you want to go chop that tree down, and it's free.
Right.
I don't know. So, she said that she first lied because she was scared, which I don't know why she would lie because that makes no sense. She has nothing to be scared about either way.
You're going to corroborate a story or not corroborate a story, and why be scared? What?
Why would she not corroborate his story because she was scared?
Right.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay. So anyway, I mean, maybe she was saying she was scared of the police. She wanted the police to hear. She made them. Maybe they made her think that that's what they wanted to hear. So she said,
if I admit that I'm with him, am I now guilty of a murder?
Yeah. Well, no, I think they want to say he didn't come see you after. She's trying to say now I was scared of the police, saying, because the police, if they have a theory, they're not going to go, now, were you with him during the time of the murder? They're going to go, you weren't with him from there to there. Right. They're going to tell her she wasn't with him, and she's going to have to argue with them to say she was.
Okay.
And so it's one of those things, I feel like.
That makes more sense.
It makes kind of more sense where she'd be scared and go, yeah, I didn't see him till Monday afternoon. So, yeah, that gives him.
Yeah, keep me away from this
plenty.
Shit.
Yeah, exactly. That too. So also, a Detective McKinney, who will come up again, he says that Clayton Stevens, the guy who Roscoe's girlfriend bought the gun for him, confirmed that he sold Roscoe and his girlfriend a .357 Magnum Smith & Wesson pistol around noon of that day.
Sunday,
yes. So Kentucky police detectives also talk about they found a clump of blackish brown hair in Jean's hand. And her hand, which was next to Boswell. She ended up next to Boswell because she popped out of the bathroom. They were both in the hallway. Now, Boswell's hair, along with Roscoe Garland's, is both brown, but John Garland's hair is silver. So he's got silver hair. So it ain't his fucking hair. It's not his. So, but Roscoe and Boswell both have brown hair and about that same length. So that's one of those things where they're like, meh, who's that? So now it's getting a little dicey.
And super interesting.
And interesting. Yeah. So the lab report at this point, they do comparisons between the hair found in her hand and Boswell's hair, and they find they're similar in color and microscopic characteristics. That's what they have out of that. They have similar characteristics, which hair is extremely it's hard to classify. Okay. Hard to classify unless you can DNA it. It's a very, very hard thing to classify. Like they say, like basically if you have brown, like if you're me, and like back in the day, they could never match a hair because it's half the fucking population has hair like that. It's a brown
Italian.
It's just brown hair, right. Brown Caucasoid hair. They'd say, you know, it's the whatever, or they can tell a little bit better with blonde hair. Apparently, they can tell a little bit more because there's a characteristics to shade and stuff like that they can compare a little more. Okay. Whereas brown hair is just brown hair. Okay. So so the prosecutors argued that the hair could have come from John Garland. Now, the thing is, the jury doesn't hear about the report on the hair. Jury never hears it.
That's fucking super important information.
But his defense team doesn't bring it up, and the prosecution doesn't bring it up because it doesn't help their case.
Yeah.
So they say, rather than say there was a report, the prosecution brings up in court that she was found with a clump of hair in her hand, and who knows, might have been John's. That's all they say.
Wow.
So they don't say that it's actually, we did a fucking lab test on it. It's definitely not his, but it actually could be either the guy who's murdered next to her or an alternate suspect in this case. They don't want to. That's not something you want to bring up.
No.
An alternate suspect if you're the prosecution. So pre-trial here, they excuse a juror. Stephanie Capps was her name. During the whole, initial thing here, she stated she didn't believe in the death penalty and she didn't think she could consider imposing the death penalty. Okay. So the prosecutor asked her if it was based upon her personal beliefs and convictions, and she said yes. So they ask her a little more, whether there might be facts as to, they said, could there ever be facts that are, quote, so horrible as to make her go against her normal feelings, what they said. And she said, quote, I don't know. I think that them having to sit there and suffer and live with what they've done should be enough punishment for them, is what they said. So the prosecutor continues, and he, asking 3 more questions, which he referred to really horrible cases where he's like, well, what if it was pick any one of our shit. Yeah. What if it was Raymond Mata? What if it was a 3-year-old and he cut his head off and put it above his thing and fed the meat to his dog and all that shit? And finally, after... we could give you 10 examples of things where they go, oh, but I want to kill that guy. So at that point, she said, well, yeah, I guess I could in that case there. And the trial court ended up excusing her as unqualified because she wasn't ready to impose the death penalty. So that will come up later, obviously. The law is jurors may not be disqualified simply because they express some disagreement with the death penalty. Even a person who initially provides a disqualifying response should not be excused if further examination shows he or she to be qualified. So they probably should have kept her, but if they had strikes left, they don't have to have a fucking reason. You can strike who you want. I don't like the look of her. I don't like the way she answered that. I don't believe her. I don't feel like she's on my side. It doesn't matter. You can say, it just doesn't fucking matter. You can't just say, I don't want black people. That's about all you can't say. So or women, but they'll do that. They'll try to stack the jury with more women or more men, depending on the case. Crime, you look at the case and they go, we want this juror. That's who they want. Her kids,
all women. Let's go.
They want, like OJ. Yeah. They said, we want no fucking black women on that jury. We want no black fucking women. They're like, go dumped his black wife for a fucking blonde waitress that he went out with and they killed. They're going to be like, yeah, fuck him. And so they did not want black women. They got black women, but they didn't want them. That was the thing they didn't want. They wanted
Marsha Clark got him on there.
They wanted black dudes on that jury who were like, OJ's cool. What are you talking about? That's what they were looking for there. So now trial here. They goes to trial. The court questions 59 prospective jurors, and after which there was only 16 left who were qualified to serve on the jury who hadn't already heard about the case, because it's the only thing that fucking happened here. Yeah. So I don't know what smoke signals or what newspaper they found on the ground of the federal aid building. I'm not sure. But they figured it out. Also, W. Hay must have announced it. I don't know.
Also, at this point, Biggie's death is still saturating the headlines.
Yeah, so they'll hear about it soon. Yeah. It's going to get there. It happened in California. It takes a while for news to get back. It takes a while. They have to bring it by hand. It's difficult. All the wires have been there. All the wires that come into town were cut in the late 60s, and they just haven't repaired them yet. No money. So after that, they realized with only that many people even qualified, and then they had to figure out which one of those were actually going to be jurors. Mm-hmm. They said, the prosecutor moves for a change of venue, which is to get a good jury and to block that being an appeal thing later on, that they didn't have a jury that was impartial. So he states, quote, the Commonwealth believes that it would be virtually impossible to get a fair and impartial trial impaneled here in this county. The defense counsel replied, Judge, in response to that, at this time, in all frankness and honesty, we believe the prosecutor is probably correct. I think in all honesty, we would probably not be able to seat a jury. Okay. So they move it. They move it to Williamsburg. The weird thing is the change of venue is proper. They say, here's the law quickly. There must be showing that 1, there's been prejudicial news coverage, 2, it occurred prior to the trial, and 3, the effect of such news coverage is reasonably likely to prevent a fair trial. Yeah. People have asked me that before. What are the exact rules on that? Mm-hmm. I've gotten tweets, so there you go. That's what it is. So it's moved to Williamsburg. There. Now, John Garland's attorney, this is what their case is, that their client was never even at the trailer. After he was there earlier shooting shots into the ground, but later when the shots went into people, he wasn't there. Okay. He was never there, and that Roscoe Garland, with his long criminal record, is actually the murderer. Okay. That is what he's saying. So there's all sorts of shit going on here. There's so many things that happen that don't get really brought up in the trial, but then will be brought up later on as an issue that isn't really an issue. It's weird, like hearsay shit. There's Jeanette Musgrove, who's Jean's mother. She gets on the stand and says that she testifies that her daughter was scared of John. Mm-hmm. So later on, they're going to say that's improper hearsay. which is kind of a gray area also. Now, the defense, defense objects that the question called for an opinion of someone else's intentions, and she didn't think that, and so it was a big thing, and it ended up being overruled, the objection. She was allowed to go on. They said that her testimony did not include hearsay, as she did not repeat an assertion by her daughter or any nonverbal conduct or anything like that. She was just a statement of she was scared of her. Now, also, they said that that her mother here, Jeanette Musgrove, was present that afternoon, before the murder, Saturday afternoon, as John fired shots into the ground. This wasn't just...
That was that fucking day?
That was that day. Yeah, it was earlier that afternoon. That's what I mean. That was that fucking day at like noon.
Shit.
He left, was going to go there, and he came back. Her mother was there during that. And this is what he didn't just come outside, like, instead of having a boombox up, he fired shots into the ground. She came out of the trailer. That's when he started firing shots into the ground.
Wow.
He's trying to fucking scare her, obviously. He's doing like an old cowboy thing here.
Dance, bitch.
Dance, yeah. So it's fucking crazy. So, the Jeanette Musgrove, the mother, Jean's mother, testified that she observed her daughter's demeanor and reaction to the shooting incident, and, testified to her observations that she seemed frightened by being fired at with a .357 at close range.
Reasonable testify.
Reasonable. You know how loud a .357 is? I know you do.
Yeah, I do.
They're fucking loud.
Yeah.
If someone's firing off multiple, that is frightening.
Yeah.
There is just the air is just.
Yeah.
I mean, it's alive with that shit.
Your ears are ringing for a minute.
Absolutely. And while someone keeps firing shots and you don't know if they're going to shoot at you.
Like, a lot of guns have a pop,
insane.
But a .357 is a fucking boom.
It's a boom. Yeah,
it's a big noise.
It sounds like a fucking car backfiring more than a gun.
Yeah.
Like it's got like a truck, like a pow, like something's built up in it.
It's got a report back there.
Definitely. Yeah. So also there's another piece of hearsay here, alleged hearsay, that they talk about when April Sexton testifies, the 16-year-old who was with them dancing. She says she went to the dance hall with Crystal and Jean the night of the murders. She said that they circled the parking lot because they, quote, they were afraid that John was going to be there. That's what she said. Now, as she testified to what Jean told her, she says, quote, when we got up there, before we went in, Jean says she was going to circle and she was afraid of that. And then both times, she was cut off with objections and didn't get to finish.
Really?
So they're saying that what she said was still considered hearsay, even though she never finished what she said. Okay. So they also say that the Detective McKinney's testimony was investigative hearsay, stating that he gained information and a tip about a pistol purchased by Roscoe on the day of the murders, and they're saying that's hearsay, which that's just collecting evidence. That's the thing here. The objection was overruled there because that's stupid. That's just stupid. Not to mention they had the guy Clayton Stevens there to testify.
To say, I definitely sold that to him.
Yeah, he's overruled, and if the detective is lying, then that's hearsay. Well, then he'll be called on it when we bring the guy in to fucking testify. He's here. It's not like he's not available. What the fuck? So anyway, Detective McKinney said that Clayton confirmed that he sold Roscoe at .357. Although I guess they said that it was like I said, technically that's hearsay, but not in terms of anything in reality. It's not. It's just silly. So the detective also stated that a lab technician at Chuck Lanham, that's the lab tech, lab tech Chuck.
Okay.
White coat, Chuck written on it.
Lanham.
I feel like Lanham. He told McKinney that the bullets taken from the victims were not fired from the weapon purchased from Clayton Stevens, which obviously they bought it the next fucking day. Right. And so that went on. I don't know why that was a big deal. And also, the Lanham never ended up testifying. He had a recent lung transplant. The lab tech,
bastard.
So he couldn't testify and finish working on the case. And the firearm and tool mark examiner was a guy named Dwight Deskins. He reviewed and reworked everything and testified as an expert witness. So they they were kind of working on that. They were saying, well, since Lanham isn't going to be here to testify, then the detective can't testify to what the lab tech told him. And they're saying, look, don't look at the lab tech as a human being. Look at him as a position of lab tech. Yeah. And if that lab tech is gone, there's another lab tech. Either way, lab tech will testify. Doesn't matter which fucking one.
And if this lab tech agrees with that lab tech, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, exactly. It's so fucking
present
stupid.
The information.
And they said also the new lab tech is available for cross-examination. So if you have any fucking questions about it, there he is. Knock yourself out. Right. Otherwise, eat dicks, Kentuck exclamation point, pow pow. Right. So that's how that goes here. Also, the prior shooting incidents were let in, and they're calling that prior bad acts, when it seems like really that's just a lead up to the thing here, because they want it to be prior bad acts. The defense does, because that's less admissible than just, hey, this asshole did a similar thing earlier in the day to the same person here. Because
this is also why you call the police anytime that this shit happens, because then if something escalates and something else happens,
it's on record.
You got it on fucking paperwork.
See, this is what happened
there
here.
It is.
Yeah, so Jeanette Musgrove, the mother, she testifies at the day of the crimes. Jean went into her trailer to get some clothes for her children. Yes, Jean has kids also, for her children, and that's when John started shooting at Jean, or shooting at the ground around Jean. Apparently, John lived just up the hill, and another one was another bad act that was admitted during the trial was Gary Roberts testified that when he said that the weekend before the murders, he went to dance with Jean, and upon this is amazing. He said, last weekend I went out with Jean to go dance, and we got back to her trailer, and as we were going into the trailer, John was firing shots from his house at us.
Unreal.
Just firing shots down the hill at us, just in our general direction. Defense counsel objected, and this is amazing. And it was sustained on grounds that Roberts wasn't qualified as an expert to say which directions the shots came from.
Unbelievable.
You just heard shots. You don't know where they came from. They could have came from anywhere, right?
You know which way they're going.
You don't know.
He could be firing away from you.
Sound is crazy, too. Yeah, it echoes. You could think it's coming from there. It's actually coming from there, right? Are you an expert on sound bouncing? And no.
Ask anybody that was in Dealey Plaza.
Yeah, exactly. Clever defense there, actually, though, to say to not even worry about hearsay or this or that. Just go. Are you an expert on that? No, that's right. Also, the court. He's saying that the court refuses to allow his ex-wife to testify. Yeah. Basically, they refused to allow his ex-wife to testify to impeach his credibility. She testified earlier in a hearing that Roscoe, as far as she knew, never told the truth, and that he lies to her all the time.
Is she an expert on that?
I don't know if she's an expert on his lying, probably being his ex-wife. She says She says that they were talking about this. This is character evidence, and it's only supposed to go to his general reputation in the community. Mm-hmm. And her testimony went to say it was about an individual experience rather than general reputation, and that's what it's supposed to be, so there's no error. Yeah. You can't just say, I hear he's kind of an asshole. Mm-hmm. You have to go, he's an asshole because he did this, this, and this to me, or I know of instances. That's how character testimony works.
And an ex-wife is a perfect person to get to testify against you.
Yeah.
You will look like a dickhead every time.
No one wants their ex anything testifying about them at all.
No.
They're going to say everything the worst. They know it all. Polygraph also, testimony that he had taken a polygraph test, which he did and he failed, John, was erroneously admitted. Now, it wasn't admitted. They didn't admit the results of the polygraph, but it was revealed during the testimony of of John's brother-in-law, who is his ex-wife's brother. Mm-hmm. He said that John came to visit 3 or 4 days after the murders, and he said, quote, right after he had come from London from having polygraph tests done. Yeesh. And which is what the cops talked to him at first, and they ended up letting him go. That's when they cut him off. They never said whether he passed, failed, anything like that. Right. And also his ex-wife, again, testifying, saying that he came to her sister's house on the Monday after the murders, and when she said that, she said, quote, when he had to go for a polygraph test. So it was mentioned twice. And they said since it's inadmissible, those references should make a mistrial. And they said no.
Why?
Those were inadvertent references and never said whether you passed or failed. So fuck off. You don't get a mistrial for that. Even the second mention of it, though, the state objected to it and said that the trial court, please tell a witness not to say the word polygraph. Okay. No one say polygraph for the love of. They don't exist. It's not real. It's not. Don't.
Junk science.
Junk. Which, you can beat the box. So, they said the mere utterance of the word without a prejudicial inference as to the result is not grounds for reversal. So, fuck off. So John testifies. He's gotta. Yeah. He's only because there's a witness, his son, saying I watched him do it. So he's got to come up and be more credible than his son. Yeah. Now he presents an alibi as his defense. His side of the story is he didn't do it. He testifies. He said, I wasn't at the trailer at the time of the murder. I have no motive for killing these people at all. He says it was his son that did it, and it was his son that's lying, not him. He's like, I'm telling the truth. My son's a liar. Look at his record. Yeah. He's an awful, terrible person.
Don't listen to my ex-wife.
Don't listen to my ex-wife. We all have one, wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? Come on, guys. But, he's saying it's my son. Look at his record. He sucks. He's in prison constantly and blah, blah, blah. But the testimony, he said he's seeking complete exoneration. He says that, he was not there. This is ridiculous. As a strategy, it's either you say, I lost my mind, I want mercy, or you go, I wasn't even there. Right. You have no other choice. Yeah. You really don't. What do you say?
There's no other, there's no explanation.
At least he's got a plausible explanation. Right. And he even has a plausible explanation. Like OJ was just like, I don't know, Colombian drug dealers did it. Like he had no other alternative. This guy's like, my son, it was his gun and he's saying he was there. So
it makes sense.
It's at least plausible. So he denies. Defense counsel, all they could focus on was weakness of the prosecution's case. They picked on Roscoe a lot for self-serving testimony is what they said, and hoped that was enough for reasonable doubt, obviously, to get an acquittal. Now they could have pursued extreme emotional disturbance, like we said, but that would be that means you have to say you did it.
Minutes of guilt.
Well, you have to say I did it because of this, but you said you did it, so that's kind of difficult there. So Roscoe Jr., though, they really went after his credibility as a witness. That was their main thing here, because still pending against him are 3 counts of his criminal facilitation to commit murder. That's still in the air. And also, while he's testifying, he is brought from prison to court and back, young Roscoe, because he's serving a term for aggravated robbery in Tennessee.
Oh, boy.
So when you look at that, you go, aggravated robbery, that's the next step down from shooting a motherfucker and going, well, let's not they shouldn't be alive to tell them who did it, should they? That's to me. So, who knows? But
that's the next logical elevation.
That seems like a little bit of doubt anyway there. Now, on defense's cross-examination, Roscoe denied any deal with the prosecution, but he revealed his hope of lenient treatment in exchange for cooperation.
In the Tennessee trial,
in this one, because the 3 counts of facilitating a murder. So he's hoping this. He's saying, I have no deal. They have no sway with Tennessee, and so especially aggravated robbery. We're like, oh no, we're keeping him. Yeah. We got him for now.
Stick around here if he doesn't get in that.
Yeah, exactly. So he said Roscoe testified to all of this, and we'll find out what Roscoe's deal actually was afterwards, because he did have a deal in place. So he lied about it on the stand, and the prosecution didn't fucking...
They didn't budge?
Didn't say a fucking word.
They didn't say, well, hold on, Roscoe.
Well, because it's not in writing yet. It's a verbal agreement, so technically it's not. That's what they do in cases. Prosecution, when they get people to testify, they have the evidence. They have it hanging over them. They don't need to charge them. They don't need to fucking do it right now. They can wait, as long as they feel like. So get them to testify, and if your testimony is what you say it is, and if it's right, then we can fucking make the deal with you, and that makes it so you can say you have no deal in place. Which is
and
ridiculous.
If that trial hinges on your testimony and your testimony puts that person away, now we can talk.
Now we can talk. Well, yeah, it's mainly so when a defense attorney says, "What's the prosecution giving you for this?" You can go, "Nothing. I don't have any deal in place." You do, and the second that fucking gavel hits, your deal's you're going to sign that deal and it's in place. But for now, you don't. Now, prosecutor in the opening and closing, prosecutor made improper comments, is what John says later on during opening statements and closing arguments there. He referred to something that the prosecutor referred to something that looked to Detective McKinney like a bloody footprint on Jean's panties after she was killed, and argued that John had kicked her after he shot her. Like while he walked by, he like kicked her too or something. Junk? Yeah, kicked her in the junk there. Jesus. Or wherever, in the ass or something. But it didn't say whether it was on the front or back.
The undies got it.
So the prosecutor also made comments about the death penalty, because this is a death penalty case, by the way, obviously, saying that he said, quote, this country, our forefathers, our ancestors have always believed that under certain circumstances, the death penalty was an appropriate penalty because our society values life and puts a very high priority on the sanctity of life. It says, so they said when he tried to object to this, they told him that the opening and closing statements aren't evidence, and counsel has a wide berth, basically. A lot of latitude. You can basically say anything you want in an opening and a closing. Doesn't have to be based in evidence, doesn't have to be based in fact, which can be very powerful. For a prosecutor to be able to say shit that's not true to a jury right before they go in to decide, that's crazy. Like that should have to be factual, at least from the prosecutor's end.
That should be changed.
So January 1999, here, this is the verdict's going to come down. The jury is deliberating. They're deliberating for about 2 hours when the jury gave the bailiff a note requesting the answers to 5 questions. They are, can they be run concurrently and or one after the other as far as sentences go? Because he's charged with 3 counts of murder. With life without parole, will he ever get out of jail? With death, how long would it be before he would be put to death? 4, how many times can he appeal this case? And 5, is there any way we can keep him in jail until death without the death penalty? So these are the 5 questions they're asking.
Apart from one of those questions, and it's number 4 there. Apart from number 4, have any of these people heard of the legal process?
That's what
before?
I mean, at all. Like...
All of those questions have open ends,
and all of them are none of their concern either. They're supposed to decide a case, and they're not supposed to sit and go, well, if this happens or we do that, like that's not what it is. So the jury hands a note to the juror, gives it to the bailiff, and says that they don't want to be brought back into the courtroom. That's not what they're saying. We just want our shit answered. So after reviewing the questions with the counsel, the judge said that none of the questions could be addressed, and just wrote on the note, quote, can't answer, just follow the instructions. Just fucking say whether he shot her or not and whether you want to kill him or not. That's all we want out of you. Enough. So the jury later sent another note to the judge. They get instructed. They don't just say, all right, trial's over. You guys go fuck around in there and just come out with something. They do a full thing of instruction. It's really, really thorough.
And you got a packet of shit.
You got to everything. The jury sends another note to the judge asking whether the verdict had to be unanimous. And the judge went, yes, that's what I fucking told you. He sent back a note like, are we kidding? Did you pay attention? Can anyone here fucking read or focus? What is going on in this town?
Check yes or no.
For the love of Christ, something. So finally, somehow they get a verdict together. I don't know how they did it, how they could possibly mount a verdict with this type of thing in front of them, but they do, and it comes back guilty on all 3 counts. Guilty, murder, murder, murder. That's a lot of murder there. So finally, the next month, February 19th, 1999, is sentencing.
Wow.
And the jury, they don't take too long. They ask a few questions again, but they end up coming back, and you, sir, hey, fuck off. He gets the death penalty 3 times over.
Whoa.
Just in case. There's 2 backups to that one.
Oh, this is so not right.
3 deaths. Yeah, this is a
bad one.
Like he probably did it and probably shot it, but there's enough gray area to go, let's just keep him in a cell.
Yeah.
Just in case something came up.
For a bit.
Just in case. Let's hang on to him for a bit.
Okay.
I like that. So he appeals. Obviously, it's a death penalty case. He has 39 points of appeal.
Yeah.
I've never seen 39 points of appeal. Most I've ever seen on this show. I mean, I'm sure there's lawyers out there.
24, right?
Something like that, and that was like, Jesus Christ. Normally it's like 6.
And that 24 was
8.
like a dude that for sure did it.
It was ridiculous. It was a lot. I'm sure there's lawyers out there going, I've had a case with 150. It doesn't matter. But 39 points of appeal, it's everything. You're saying that nothing happened right. And I'm not going to go through 39 fucking points of appeal because we'll be here all goddamn night, and that's just not happening. So we'll hit the highlights here. On his 14th claim here, he says that the instructions presented reliable capital sentencing. He says that he describes 12 separate alleged improprieties in the penalty phase instructions alone. He maintains that the trial court erroneously failed to instruct the jury on the extreme emotional disturbance statutory mitigator. So that's a problem there. They should have known that if they thought that Chris Boswell making him snap was an actual thing that they could use as a mitigator to not kill him. So he's saying that. He said this mitigating factor may be considered even though the evidence is insufficient to constitute a defense of the crime. They can consider it as a mitigator. And also not mentioning EED, which is extreme emotional disturbance, in the instructions allowed in mitigation. He says that the crime, it basically doesn't allow that the crime was impulsive and based on instant passion, that the defendant was in love with the victim and acted in an instance of crazed jealousy. Because that's what they want to be an option, basically. They said there was no error because he didn't want it phrased that way anyway. So how are you going to complain about something you said you didn't want?
Good point.
So also another one here on the 10th claim is the tape, the audio cassette. At the trial, the prosecution played that audio cassette from a month before that, where on the tape he says that Jean was pregnant. They talk about that and that he loved the baby, even though Gary Roberts was the father. And then Gary Roberts testified that he dated Jean for 4 or 5 months, knocked her up, blah 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 blah. So that all went on here. They play the audio cassette like we know. So they're saying that they're saying that the prosecutor presented this. They're saying it was knowingly presenting false evidence because the prosecutor knew that Jean wasn't pregnant. But that's irrelevant because he thought she was pregnant. Right. Yeah, none of that matters. The reality of it doesn't matter. It's what he thought. So they say the relevant factor is whether or not whether Jean was pregnant or not, but what John's belief regarding her pregnancy and its possible influence on his behavior, which is all it is. The audio cassette of his voice reveals his belief that he was pregnant and that he was not the father. Yeah. So that gives you goes to his state of mind, and it's relevant, and there's no error. So those are the main ones. Otherwise, I mean, it was little things. Death penalties unconstitutional. Not that that's a little thing, but that's one of those that they just go, that's not a fucking thing. They cross that off.
That you throw in anyway.
Little things, an I not dotted, a T not crossed over here, and they were like, that doesn't constitute enough error to make it matter. So it's October of 2003. All 3 murder convictions are upheld, and all 3 death sentences are upheld there. And there's that. There is a dissenting opinion to this appeal, though. Yeah. This is not a unanimous decision from this panel here.
Do you have it written?
I do indeed. I have one here. Quote, I respectfully dissent from the majority opinion and vote to reverse appellant's convictions and remand this indictment to the McCreary County Circuit Court for a new trial. In my view, the appellant was substantially prejudiced by the erroneous admission of 1, April Sexton's irrelevant testimony as to Jean Ferrier and Crystal Conister's fear of the appellant. Both Jeanette Musgrove, that's Jean's mom, and Gary Roberts' testimony to uncharged prior bad acts. He wasn't convicted of those bad acts. They were just witnessed. Uncharged prior bad acts, specifically previous occasions upon which the appellant allegedly discharged firearms in Jean's direction, which the Commonwealth introduced in violation of a trial court order prohibiting it from introducing such evidence because it had not provided the reasonable pretrial notice. So they knew they weren't supposed to introduce that, and it got introduced.
This, though, isn't even an opinion. This is just fucking facts.
This is facts. This is the judge saying, but he's stating facts, and the other judges are saying that's not enough to be material, doesn't matter. And this judge is saying, actually, I think that's reversible because of this shit.
Don't ever get convicted of murder.
No, it's bad. Additionally, although I agree with the majority's bottom line conclusion that the inadmissible investigative hearsay that was erroneously introduced during Detective McKinney's testimony was harmless in this case, I write separately as to that alleged allegation of error to caution the bench and bar to avoid the introduction of such hearsay evidence in future cases. So this is like this all that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's a very reasonable opinion that's saying, I think we should dump this, and I think we should retry this guy without the bullshit, and I think you're still going to get the conviction. Okay. Who cares, basically? Also, he has a little DNA thing cooking here. After his convictions were affirmed, he files a motion to the circuit court to obtain DNA testing and analysis of some evidentiary items here. Now, what he wants, this is interesting here. Now, he does have the right to obtain this. He moved to for analysis of the hair recovered from Gene Ferrier's left hand, hair found on a broken Ferrier fingernail, and some other things like that. The fingernail thing is the big deal. Now, this is going on through 2004, where he is the oldest person on Kentucky's death row.
How old is he?
62.
Oh, Jesus.
62, oldest guy on death row in Kentucky right then.
I guess you don't live very long on death row.
No, you don't. 2008 here, he specifically requests DNA. This is 5 years go by. Nothing happens with that. 2008, he specifically requests DNA testing of the clump of hair in her hand and possible hair under the fingernail. First motion, also he adds all the additional items as well. He now limits his argument though to 2 items only. One is, I'll read the thing here. It says, therefore, we need not address the testing of the other items listed in the appellant's first motion, and will now consider whether the trial court erred in denying his motion for DNA testing of the hair specimens, because they denied him the first time. So he's still denied, though, here in 2008, additional DNA testing. 2011, he has another DNA hearing. Here, at this hearing, the court is informed that the 2 items argued in the other appeal, the clump of hair from the hand and possible hair under the fingernail, had been subjected to DNA testing. Oh. They have been. The analysis showed the clump of hair came from Chris Boswell, one of the other murder victims. Oh. Like she fell down and just grasped it or grabbed at it or was trying to grab at something. Who knows? That's where that came from.
Maybe she wasn't even dead and she was trying to wake him up or some shit.
So, you never know. She was grasping for, she might have just been, who knows what the hell, people as they're dying. The result of the hair found in her broken fingernail showed that one strand of hair came from Jean herself and then another came from Chris Boswell. The origin of a third strand of hair was indeterminable and was perhaps not even human hair. So it might have been animal or some sort of whatever. None of these discoveries exculpated John. None of these things clear him of anything. It's just saying that it's not his hair, which that doesn't mean he didn't shoot him. That means that she grabbed Chris Boswell's hair. That doesn't mean shit.
A victim there, and he didn't shoot himself.
And he didn't, exactly. This hearing also revealed that Gene Ferrier's fingernail clippings were not subjected to DNA testing because they'd been discarded 14 years earlier, despite the fact of a no-destroy order from the judge on all of the physical evidence here. They were still intentionally destroyed, the fingernail clippings here. So this was a big deal here, the destruction of evidence, obviously. State police officers who were at this point retired testified regarding their knowledge of the whole thing. The evidence was presented at the hearing, showing that police investigating the crimes used a rape kit to collect potential evidence. Nothing related to the rape kit was introduced into evidence at the trial, and no sexual crimes were alleged in connection with the shootings. That's just the only thing they had to use to test shit. Now, John never requested to have the rape kit items tested for DNA. The destruction form was signed by the 2 detectives, but both officers denied signing the destruction form to destroy the fingernail evidence. They both denied it. They both said, 2 fucking retired cops said that someone else had forged their signatures on the form. Those aren't even their signatures. Not only did I not sign that isn't even my fucking signature. Someone forged my signature and destroyed the fingernail evidence, which is just whatever. If you're a defendant, even if you're totally guilty, you're going, that looks great for me.
Right.
Like, there shouldn't be forgeries and destruction of evidence that needs to be kept, under order from a judge.
Sure.
So yeah, that's crazy. So John argued that the forgery, otherwise unconnected to the fingernail evidence, indicated bad faith in destruction of the fingernail clippings. Indicated they did it on purpose because maybe they thought it was exculpatory and they didn't want to have it. Now, the one sergeant, Biggerstaff, couldn't recall the specifics of the Garland case. How do you not recall this?
How do you not remember that?
How many triple murders are in your fucking county?
Not only that, we've covered 119 now murders in great detail. If you bring up something, I'll give you a few facts out of it I remember, and
these are bad ones.
Yeah, I bet he didn't cover 120 murders. Nah, that's my point. And I bet you even more, I bet you he saw them dead and saw way grosser shit that would stick in your mind than I do reading court documents.
How do you not remember that?
I don't know. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. He doesn't recall the specific of the case, testified that someone other than himself signed off on the paperwork. Detective Meadows testified the paperwork included a signature purporting to be his, but recalled both he and Biggerstaff being present when the evidence was destroyed, which is...
Oh, that's not good.
No, but he says he didn't sign it, though. He theorized that a filing clerk may have noticed the officers had failed to sign one of the documents and just did it for him as like a standard office thing. Like, oh, they want this destroyed. They put it in the destroy pile, but they forgot to sign it. I better just zip a little fucking John Hancock on there for him, which you can't do. You can't do that.
What a dipshit. That file clerk's fired too.
Jesus, this was he's one of the only people in town with a fucking job.
Yeah, should be a job opening.
Yeah,
right
no
now.
Shit. Everybody lined up outside. The judge ordered the evidence to be preserved right after he was indicted in 1997. This was immediately, I want nothing to be fucking destroyed, and it was. So they asked obviously the police if it was policy to destroy evidence without a court order, and as a matter of fact against a specific court order, and they said that they testified such an order would only be sought if the evidence had actually been used at trial. But they said it doesn't matter. They go back and forth on this. They argue back and forth about this whole thing that neither the defense nor the prosecution chose to put the DNA evidence in front of the scientific evidence in front of the jury, which is weird. Seems like
why even do it?
Yeah, I don't know. You see brown hair. If I'm the defense attorney, I'm going, fuck, I'm telling the jury about that.
That's evidence number one.
Ain't my guy. You see his head? I'm just saying. I mean, that's enough to get in people's heads more than anything else. They need that little bit of doubt.
It's got a doubt enough for me right now. I feel terrible for this man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He may have done it, and I feel terrible
I think
for
he
him.
definitely did it, but I do still feel bad. But his attorney here argued that his conviction should be vacated in favor of a new trial because of the bad faith in the preservation or lack of preservation of evidence. The judge disagrees. The judge says, quote, this court finds that there was no willful, malicious, or duplicitous motive to defeat or impair in any way the defendant's due process rights. He said the defense also failed to prove that the evidence that was destroyed had exculpatory value, because that's part of it too. He said, quote, this court cannot speculate as to whose DNA may have been on the fingernail clippings or what that might mean. Indeed, such evidence could have easily aided the Commonwealth as the defendant. So, but it could have not. I don't like that statement. They can't speculate. Well, you don't speculate. That's why you needed to test it scientifically. So there's no fucking speculation, but they destroyed it. So how the fuck do you test it scientifically, you dumb fuck? Why don't they just do that with everything then?
Right.
Then the cops could just destroy everything and they go, I don't think it was malicious. I mean, there was forged signatures and shit, but that's not malicious. And, who fucking cares anyway? It's only the death penalty.
Let's
the fuck do we care? Who can speculate, really? What the fuck are we doing here? It could have helped the state as well as him. Who knows? I mean, well, yeah, who does know? That's the point. Nobody, because of them, because of the state. If he destroyed it himself, then it's on him, but it's the state. So the judge also cites the Kentucky Supreme Court in overruling the motion, stating that the statute was not intended for speculating about innocence. He says, in making this claim, the appellant ignores the fact that he had already been convicted at a fair trial, which has been affirmed by this court. While the system is admittedly imperfect, which is why certain statute exists in the first place, that fact does not require reversal of a conviction after the fact, simply because appellant cannot imagine or can imagine a scenario in which he may be shown to be innocent. Well, that would be true, except if you have physical evidence that was destroyed against a fucking judge's order. That's different than just him imagining a scenario where he could possibly be innocent.
The Supreme Court sucks too.
It's fucking Kentucky,
what is
man.
The Kentucky Supreme Court made up of?
It's goddamn crazy. So he's 71 years old at this point too. I mean, you're sitting in there. Jesus Christ, he's been on death row for fucking 14 years. He is just trying to get the DNA evidence, and they talk about this. Now, they said that he just keeps talking about how he just wants shit to be tested. That's all he wants. He wants the things to be tested, even though he knows that it won't be because it's destroyed. Now, as he leaves court here, in 2011, he falls down. Yeah. He falls leaving court, and he's cuffed and all that shit. So but he does fall. Yeah. Now, November 2012, he files a lawsuit against them, civil suit against McCreary County Fiscal Court, unknown employees, and the Kentucky Association of Counties, which is the insurer of these people. He says that they're liable for a fall he suffered leaving a court hearing last time, claiming problems with his hearing, vision, breathing, and mobility. He alleged that he was required to negotiate the stairs to enter and leave the second floor courtroom, and that the defendants failed to, quote, that's the state. The state failed to, quote, train employees in the proper handling of disabled persons, because he's 70. Yeah. Now, he says he's representing himself in this case, because you can't get a public defender for this. He's seeking $10 million for, quote, pain, suffering, permanent injury, future impairment, loss of enjoyment of his major daily life and activities. You're on death row, dude. And unspecified punitive damages is what he's suing for, which is
$10 million?
$10 million, which you could buy every piece of real estate in this fucking town for that much money. Literally, you could own the town. This ends up being dismissed. Here, the judge rules that Garland failed to show that he was discriminated against since he didn't attend. Well, he attended the hearing without incident before. So they're saying that, you can get in and out. So you weren't discriminated against. You didn't need special help is what they're telling him here. And also the Americans with Disabilities Act doesn't allow for public employees to be sued in an individual capacity. Oh, so you can't sue like employee A and employee B you have to sue the whole entity there. And it says, quote, because Garland is an inmate, courthouse personnel had legitimate security and safety reasons to deny his request to use the elevator. So that's what they're saying. They discriminated against him by not letting him use the elevator, even though he's disabled, which he's in his 70s. That's a good point. Yeah. Making a fucking shackled guy go upstairs who's in the 70s.
I was just wondering about like a ramp or something, but if there's an elevator, maybe they should
they could have, but they said security reasons. And quote, and Garland has not alleged that he was denied access to the elevator or courtroom because of his disability, which is no. He's just saying you denied me. You said it was for security. Right. So because they didn't tell him it was because of his disability, then it's not discrimination against his disability, even though it was just they didn't do it. They didn't care. So
if they would have said it'll be funny.
It's
to watch,
so stupid.
It'll be funny to watch you try to crawl up those stairs.
That would have been. That's the only way that it would have been that. Even though that's ridiculous because obviously no one's going to do that out in the open. The judge here was pleased with the ruling that he made, and he says, "quote: the courthouse is ADA compliant, which is Americans with Disability Act. If you're from another country, quote: we do everything we can to keep the facility up to date and functional. So we're perfect. Fuck you." May 2013, there's another DNA hearing here where Garland and some of his family are here, learn the evidence not used in his trial. They talk about the destroyed evidence. He is, this is another one of those. It's an evidentiary hearing. As he is brought out of the court, he yells, quote, "I never killed nobody." And, that's what he yells as they tucked him into the car. Okay. Exclamation point. Yeah. His family.
The gun to make the Kentucky one.
Well, he couldn't do it. He couldn't say it. And they closed the door. He paused for the fuck and they closed the door. He's like, shit. He's like, can somebody fire a round off into the ground? I want to emphasize what I'm just one pow, just one shot. It's fine. You could do two if you want, but one is fine. His family members were all there. They said here, this is his sister Beverly says, quote, they destroyed that evidence because they knew it wouldn't link him to the killing. She says that the evidence is needed to exonerate her brother, and she says that there's still some evidence out there, and that's why that's why they're all still fighting. She says, quote, it's been a cover-up since day one. Uh-huh. So this is some backwoods Kentucky conspiracy shit going on here. Yeah. His sister Crystal Conister's sister, Brenda, was one of the first people out of the courtroom. They asked her how she feels about the whole thing. She said, quote, "It hurts. I hate to see my mother go through this." She says, "We deal with the loss every day." So she's just saying that. She says, quote, "He's been tried and convicted of 3 murders. In the end, he's guilty." And then she leaves. So that's how that works. February of 2015, Garland concedes that the fingernail clippings had no known exculpatory value when they were destroyed. He contends, however, that the analysis of biological material, if any, which may have been found in the fingernail clippings, had the potential of exculpatory value, and the court agrees with him here. They said throughout the trial he maintained that his son committed the murders. Roscoe testified he denied committing the murders. He testified in great detail about how his father shot and killed all 3 victims. They found Roscoe's DNA. They're saying that if they found Roscoe's DNA in Jean's fingernail clippings, it would suggest that he was involved with the struggle and not him, as he claims, not John, as they claim, and also that Roscoe wasn't a passive witness, that he was a participant in this murder, and that they were just giving him a lower charge to set up the father. That's what the defense is trying to say. It said anyone involved in the trial, the police, officers, defense counsel, were aware of competing claims. They could have surmised potential evidentiary value that might arise from the analysis of fingernail clippings. They said that Garland satisfies the second and third prongs of the test, which is this test to see if something is admissible here. They're saying the court found that officers Biggerstaff and Meadows did not act in bad faith when they destroyed the fingernail clippings, and that finding is supported by other evidence. The evidence clearly shows that the officers disposed of the material in accordance with routine protocol for handling evidence that was not introduced at trial. Basically, they're saying they didn't pay attention to the order to not destroy this evidence because it's standard procedure that shit that's not used at trial, you toss it. Okay. Which is fucking crazy.
That's a terrible policy to have.
Keep it all.
Always.
Keep anything that might have anything, because we don't know. They keep, in the 70s, they kept like samples of shit that they didn't know. They couldn't do anything with it at the time. Right. They couldn't test it, but they kept it. And then later on, it was DNA tested, even though they didn't even know DNA would exist. They said maybe someday something will be able to be done with this.
And that's the phrase that should be said with everything.
With everything. We don't know. So we could have come up. We had no idea about DNA. Right. I mean, imagine that was like a holy shit. Like that, something new like that could happen. We didn't know here.
It should be like the Lost Ark and just stowed in a giant goddamn storage unit, and as that gets full, find a bigger one.
Find a bigger one. Yeah, fuck it. This is something we should all be willing to pay for. So this is February 2015. They say that Garland fails to satisfy the first and most crucial prong of this test, which is bad faith on the part of the government. The trial court found that the officers did not act in bad faith when they destroyed fingernail clippings, and that finding is supported. So that's the issue here. They say that it was reasonable for the officers to assume that after the trial, it was if neither the prosecution nor the defense had any use for an item, that there was no reason to keep it. Trial court also noted that it was that in order to preserve evidence was entered 2 years prior to the trial and was never conveyed to the officers. So they were saying that the chain was fine anyway. So basically, they say notice to the prosecution, the defense counsel, and the trial court seem like prudent steps to take in a death penalty case when the post-trial destruction of such evidence is contemplated. What they're saying is, look, in the future, to avoid this, why don't we make a fucking rule that when evidence like this is going to be destroyed, we let the counsels know. We send a letter out saying, hey, this evidence is set to be destroyed in 6 months. So if you want it, put a fucking
put a hold on it.
Put a hold on it. Yeah.
Run down here with your tag.
File a piece of paper and we won't fucking destroy it. But otherwise it's getting destroyed. So just to let you know, which is a great idea.
It's a great rule.
That's a great rule. They say sufficient evidence was presented to induce conviction in the mind of a reasonable person that the fingernail clippings were discarded as a matter of routine. Accordingly, we are not at liberty to disturb the trial court's factual finding on this issue. Keep fucking off. Sends him back there, still on death row, and then April 22nd, 2018, he dies.
Of course.
Dies at age 75, and that's that. Dies on death row in Kentucky. Or in a hospital there, the death row hospital.
Wherever they take you to die.
Wherever the fucking death house is there where they don't actually kill you. But that's it. He dies in prison. We never really...
Poor bastard.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he shot all 3 of those people, which sucks, but I don't like the way it happened.
That really sucks.
I don't like that trial. I don't like the only evidence that's real evidence against him being an accomplice who knew exactly where the murder weapon was and who also that murder weapon belonged to.
And with plenty of reason to say that it's his dad.
That's what I mean. Like, I get that you have to have accomplice testimony to get it, but and they say that it's corroborated because he knew where the weapon was. But to me, that also uncorroborates it as well, because that also says you knew where the weapon was. Who's to say you didn't hide it there? Why do we believe you and not him?
The part that makes me believe the dad, though, at least a little bit, is that even when they gave all the evidence of, we know this, we all know that, we know all of this because your son told us. And he goes, I didn't. Well, look at him then. Yeah. Don't look at me.
Look at him.
He's stuck with that the whole time through.
And the fact that his son is in jail for aggravated robbery and has a super long criminal record. All of these things make him look, but then again, you go fucking 2:00 that afternoon, he was firing shots into the ground in front of this woman, so he probably did this.
And he would do that in front of that girl's mom.
In front of her mom.
That's
what I mean. In broad fucking daylight, in front of not only the whole neighborhood, but her mother standing there. And her kids are in the house. Her kids were in the fucking house when this was going on. So,
that shows some crazy opportunity to be guilty. Yeah. But also
opportunity for recreation and murder. I'm going to call this episode Opportunity for Murder.
It also shows to me that maybe he's just crazy enough to do shit like that, but he wouldn't fucking murder her. If he was going to murder her, maybe he would have done that then too.
Who knows? But it's at least worth looking into, is what I'm getting at. And you'd like to have all the evidence there. And
this case sucks.
Yeah, and I'd love to hook his son up. I'd love to hook his son's balls up to a car battery and ask him some fucking questions and find out exactly what happened really quickly, because I want to fucking know.
I don't know where that little asshole is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. But either way, who knows? That is Whitley City, Kentucky. I was going to say Fleming Neon. That was the first one we did. That was in my head. Whitley City, Kentucky, and that is John Roscoe Garland and poor Gene and Crystal and poor Chris Boswell too. He had nothing to do with this at all. He's just like
getting some ass.
I met some chick. This is great. Going back to the trailer. Hey, what's going on out here? Holy fuck! Who was that? I got shot a bunch. This is ridiculous. So that's the unluckiest guy in the whole world. That guy there. He thought he was the luckiest guy on earth.
Turns out he's not.
In an hour's time, he went from the luckiest guy in the world to the unluckiest fucking guy in the world in an hour. That never happens. It never happens. That would be like winning the lottery and being sued for killing a baby in the same day in public. Like, it's shit. Damn it. Nah, never mind. Fuck.
I almost had it made.
So Jesus Christ, that's that. If you like the show, lots you can do to tell us about it and help out the show. First of all, you can go to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever that purple icon is. Go there. That helps a lot. You can give us 5 stars. Tell us you're following instructions or directions. It doesn't matter. It's not for our ego. It's really just to drive us up the charts. And that really does help us a lot on the business end. Yeah. Also, if you want to contact us on social media, and this is going to be important for tickets because the social media is important for the tickets, because a lot of times if they sell out or if one's low or something like that, we'll tell you through social media. So do that. Follow us. It is at Murder Small on Twitter, at Smalltown Pod on Facebook, and at Smalltown Murder on Instagram. And so check on there for everything, for updates. Also, if you want to buy tickets today, Thursday, the day the show comes out, May the 16th, you can do that with all of the tickets. Pre-sale can be bought with the code Grim Karen. Right. What they do with pre-sale, just an explanation, it's usually like 50 or 100 tickets they put up for pre-sale. So if you go to buy pre-sale tickets and they're sold out, the show's not sold out. No. There's like 50 tickets, 100 tickets that are gone. I don't know why they do that, the pre-sale. I really don't. It's not us. We don't say, let's put a couple on sale early, and that we don't do that.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Yeah, I think it's something to do with gauging the way sales go. They have a certain formula with if they sell this much in this time, who the fuck knows. But tomorrow, or if you're listening on Friday, today, or anytime past that, last Friday,
they're on sale.
They're on sale. Tickets to all of these live shows are on sale. A huge slate on there. I could go through them all, but Jesus Christ,
they're up there.
They're up there.
Where are they, James?
There's a lot of them. Where? Shutupandgivememurder.com. That's right. Where you can also get all your merchandise to wear to these damn live shows, and also you can listen to Crime and Sports as well there. You can do all of that there. there. And these tickets, we're excited about this tour.
Yeah.
These venues are nice.
Yeah.
No shitty, dumpy venues. Not that we did last time. We did pretty well, too. But no dumpy venues, no crappy places. This is going to be a really good time.
We want to sit you somewhere nice and tell you something terrible.
And that's right. And we have to say, too, a lot of the cities, people are like, how come you're not here? How come you're not there? Because we're not. When a comic tours, they tour 40 weeks a year.
Right.
We can't tour 40 weeks a year. You would not have these shows if we toured 40 weeks a year. You just wouldn't. It takes up too much time. Podcast would stop. So we can do about 20. That's about how much time we have. We have families. We have shows. We have a lot of shit going on. So that's about how much time we have. And in 1 year, we can only hit 20 cities. It's not a lot of markets. Right. You'd think it's a lot, but it fills up quick.
It does.
And then you end up with places that you're not going that we'd like to go. And that's like Des Moines. We wanted to go to Des Moines. Mm-hmm. We said we were going to Des Moines. Des Moines was on the schedule, but a conflict came up. It just came up, and where we couldn't do that day, we had to do the next day or the day before, whatever it was, and we couldn't because of a conflict that we had. Right. So we had to take Omaha instead, which is great. We're happy to go there.
Sure.
There has to be like everything has to line up. It has to be the venue has to be right, because we don't want to put you guys in a shit venue.
Then it has to be available, James.
Then it has to be available, and then we have to be available, not only from the show but from other live shows and from our regular lives. Right. And then on top of that, they have to be willing to work with the ticket prices and all that, because we're not going to sell super expensive tickets.
Right.
Then it has to work in our routing. Right. Suppose we're in Seattle that weekend and this is in Atlanta. Well, we can't fucking do that, obviously, so that's going to be difficult. So all of these things have to line up perfectly for us to book a show.
And somehow we got a whole bunch of dates to line up.
Yeah, so it really is a lot of work that goes into that. So if a date like Des Moines falls through, maybe 3 of the 4 things were perfect, and that 4th thing didn't just quite line up. So that's the reason why. It's not because we don't like you guys. Right. And other dates, too. Other cities we've been to that we love, we're fucking coming there. Right. This is through the end of this calendar year. Right. There's going to be more dates after that. We're tacking them on. We're looking at Salt Lake City, Denver. Yeah. We got Portland. What do you think? We're not going to come back to fucking Portland?
Seattle, we're going to
go back there. We were
Boston,
just in, but I mean,
New York, we love you guys.
Boston, New York, we've been there. Boston's been they've been the best to us. Yeah. We'll definitely be there. Portland, you guys, both shows we've been there. We did 2 different places. Yep. One venue, the second venue was twice the size as the first. They both sold out immediately. Now. So that's how much we really want to be in Portland. We'll be there. San Francisco.
For sure.
You're going to give me money to go to San Francisco? I'm fucking there. I don't care what I have to do. I love that place.
Don't say that too loud. Venues aren't going to pay us enough.
Yeah, that's true.
To cover
well, they have to deal with fucking our agents then.
Look at the top 40 markets in the country. And then see that number 43, 44, they're still huge ass cities.
They're still big cities and big places that we have to go.
And we still want to do those.
So we got it. We'll be all around. So if you feel left out, don't be left out. We're coming to as many places as we can. We need it to balance. This is how many shows we can do and still keep our podcast really good for you guys. That's it. And this is how many live shows we could do, because we could have squeezed more in. Sure. But then they're not as good as shows because we're exhausted. Yeah. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do 4 shows in a weekend in different cities and not give you guys quality.
And then the weekend
we want to have energy
that I'm spending with my kids is spent
sleeping.
Saying, why don't you guys just go do something yourself?
That's right. So also we're working on a crime and sports live show also.
And
so
that one is going to be so fun.
That's going to be insanity. So let's do that. And without further ado, we're going to get to our producers in 1 second. But if you would like to be a producer, if you'd like to be one of these spectacular, wonderful, fantastical, magical people, you can do that very easily. You go to shutupandgivememurder.com and you're buying tickets and all that. You can also go over to patreon.com/crimeinsports and you can make a donation there, or head over to PayPal and make a one-time donation using our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. And please do that. It really does help out the show a lot. And now we're going to give you a list of the most incredible people in the world who have done just that and helped us out. Jimmy, spring it on me like a Kentucky exclamation point.
This week's executive producers are Cheryl Dodge, Leah Gordon, Shannon Russell, Ronald Carl Williams II, not Junior, the second.
Not a junior.
I promise. Avasa Breta and Gary Howard, and then happy MBA to Lee.
Hey,
so
congrats.
Lee got himself an MBA, and we helped him with that.
Well,
so good
shit.
for you, Lee. Congratulations, man.
Don't even have a high school diploma.
Yeah, get out there and business manage some shit, man.
No shit.
Good for you. Julia Holmes and her son Chris Edwards are also producers. Pierce DeCourcy, Ashley McHaffey, MK Skippy 24. That's a screen name. I doubt that's somebody's name. Colleen Stachowiak. That's ruined. Moving forward. Aaron McSweeney or McSwiney. Kenneth Garrity. Katie, is that Katie? That is Katie. Katie Murphy. Allison Davis. Earthios Darkarma. Earthios Darkarma. Thank you. Don Peterson, Megan Bassler, Courtney Devon, Grim Karen, which I'm jacked about. That's amazing. Megan Bassler, Courtney Devon. I said that. Gable. No, it's Gabe. Gabe Weeby. Gabe Weeb.
Sure.
That's all of them.
Any possibility.
Marla Happany, Tanya Marion, Robin Rosenfeld, Judith Keel, Ruby Perez, or Roby. I think that's a U. I'm pretty sure. Mitchell Fisher, Delinda Andrews Luinge or Luingi. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Kathleen Libby, Alyssa, that's Alyssa Catuagno, Matthew, damn it, Matthew Winalski. This is the hardest fucking week
You're on a
ever.
tough
I'm
week
serious.
Here.
Kristen Buford, Holly Sutton, Joe Boyd, Caitlin Gagnon, Nikki Dunn, Jude Kendall, Thomas, Radio Yes. That's how it's spelled. I'm sure it's wrong, but Radio Yes sounds good.
Radio Yes.
Sounds like a new Morning Zoo.
Yeah.
Radio Yes. Say yes to Morning Zoo.
Tomorrow morning, all week long on Radio Yes, 101.6.
Corbin Van Leuven, Mariah Aguirre or Aguirre.
Either
There's
one.
So many.
Could be any of them.
Benjamin Ryan, David Dammits. That's a good one, damn it. Rob East, Allison Morris, Dick Donovan, Charles Burrows, Cassie Lewis, Eric Barber, Dominic Hooten, Simona Kuniva, Simona, I'm so sorry, that's what I am. Mackenzie Rankin, Mackenzie Rankin. Amanda Miles, Edward Kaczynski, Keith and Sandy Stover, Megan McSherry. She's in the UK, I believe. Thank you, Megan. You're a sweetheart. Peta Marie Karate. Anytime P-E-T-A, I'm never going to pronounce that. Peta?
Yeah.
That's Peta, right? It's probably Peta. It's not PETA, right?
It could be PETA.
It could be PETA.
There's PETAs.
Don't look at me. Nia Williams-Jones, Rosanna Robinson, Christina Doling, Kim Hodgkins, Hodgkiss, Melody Potter, Fletcher Wilkinson, Jen with no last name, Stephen Valentine, Susanna Larson, Jeremy Doran, Amy Schwartz, Brooke Hand, or Hard. I think it's Hand. I'm sorry, Brooke. Either way, it's a dirty last name.
Filthy.
Hard or Hand. Allison Riley, Benedict Hutchinson Brooks, Michael Joseph, Valerie Ferguson, Brendan Doherty, Jinji Liu or Liao or Lau.
Cool.
Asian
Thank you.
names are always a brutal one for me. I can't get through it. I can't do it.
It's tough.
I'll never figure it out. Andy Snow, Bridie, Cornane. Sarah with no last name, Dustin Lang, Ashley Hardison, Dustin Lang and Ashley Hardison, Gemma Hawkins, Norman Sather, Rebecca Norse, Lindsay Greth, Brandy Morgan, Becca with no last name, Tara Clarendon, James Beckman, Amy Lasher, Allison Tamlitz, doesn't matter. I'm sorry. I'll never get it. Michelle McMorris, Stephanie Hawk, Mr. and Mrs. Arnie Arbuckle Sr., Jason Durham, home stretch. Are we ready? We're ready.
Oh, we're ready.
Okay. Amy Whitaker, Sophia Gamble, Kendall Broom, it's Bloom. I think it's Bloom. It might be Broom. I'm sorry, Kendall. Rebecca Bleckman, Denny Sheeran, Damian Barney, Liz Vasquez, Eric Langenecker, Anthony Canella, Rachel Stora, Jason Fuller, there he is, Jana Gilbertson, Chelsea Morgan, Christopher Bossman, Bossman, that's a dope last name, Thomas Smith, Brendan Abels, Jesse Hartman, Alexis Dobler, Kimberly Thomas, Janice Hill, Nico Costa-Wizen?
Okay.
Oostawizen.
Hey,
that's what that is.
There we go.
I'm in now. Nathan, that's wrong anyway. Nathan Nolte, Tyler Gwill, David Albery, Reagan Shalkley, Krista Walker, Clay Thorson, Julia Edwards, Shelley Kiff, Ashley Vio, Lenny Blunk, Amanda Dwornicki, Dana Grayson, there he is, Amanda Berrigan, Jude Kendall, Peyton Meadows, Rana Abshir, Bourbon the Doberman, that's a dog on Snapchat.
Oh, cool.
Thanks, Bourbon, appreciate you. Karen Pang, and her restaurant in New York is Hunger Pang. Do you see what it is?
Yeah, go eat there.
It's in Brooklyn. Hunger Pang.
Go eat it.
Her husband's a chef there. Jason Miller, Roscoe Van Dam, Nathan Little, Jordan Bennett, Susan Spiegel, Elizabeth Britton, Alex 5 left. Alex Browning, Karen Edgen, Nia Williams-Jones, I said that, and Justin Miller again. Thank you guys so much.
We appreciate it, guys. Yeah. Honestly, from the bottom of our cold, dead black hearts, we appreciate everything you guys do for us.
And all of our Patreon supporters. You guys are so fucking great. Thank you.
You are. Thank you so much. And for you guys, this week, we are going to put up a little bonus episode on Patreon for you guys. So that's everybody. What do you want to do, Jimmy? I don't know what level, whatever. I think we did $10 level last time.
That sounds good.
That's fine. We'll do that or whatever it is. But we're going to do it's like a mini episode like we did last time. But it's a crazy fucking story.
Can't wait.
It's crazy. So, check that out if you want to get on that. Do that. But Jimmy, what if they wanted to get a hold of you? How might these nice folks find you?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And thank you guys for everything that you say and everything that you do. You guys always tell us that you thank us for working so hard, but thank you for working hard, because we can't do this show without all of you guys. So thanks for listening. What about you? Where can they tell you how much they adore you, James?
Good Lord, you can tell me very easily that you like or hate me at Jimmy P is funny, or just copy and paste my last name from the show description and save yourself a lot of going, well, where does that vowel go? Yeah. It's a lot easier that way. But that said, guys, enjoy. Thank you guys for everything. Buy those tickets, and we can't wait to see you at live shows.
Let's go dancing, James.
No, we're not going dancing at all, but we're doing other things, and that's great. So until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.